guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having an awesome Friday. Thanks for spending it with us. You know what we do here. Nobody does Indiana news and politics and government like us. Big show today. Lot to get to. Okay, guys, coming up a little bit later in the program. Yes, I finally did it. I submitted my application for the 9 to noon opening at WIBC. So a little bit later on in the program, I'll bring Jason in, and we're going to work through my resume. You had to put a resume in as part of it. And so you guys told me to do it. I wouldn't have done it if you didn't tell me to do it. And it was a very serious application. I created a very serious resume, spent like an hour out of my day. I don't know if I've ever had a resume. And I do now. WIBC still helping me out. Now I have a resume. So anyway, we'll go through that here in just a little bit. I'll ask you guys, would you hire me based on the resume that I presented? Because I got done and I was like, this looks like a pretty strong resume. Like I looked at it and I was like, because I told my wife I was going to do it. She's like, that's a brilliant idea. And she goes, do you want me to run your resume through AI and have AI do it? I was like, no. I'll do it myself. Nobody's going to talk about me better than me. And by the time I got done, I looked at it, I was like, I would totally hire me. Who's going to have a better resume than this? So we'll do that later. I know many of you look forward to that. That's coming up a little bit later on in the program. I also, guys, I have to do this. I have to congratulate my old man. He got his 4th hole-in-one yesterday. That is his 4th hole-in-one. For those of you who don't know, that is like the hardest thing to do in golf. And my old man now has 4 of them. So congratulations to my dad. He got his 4th hole-in-one yesterday. All right, let's get to it. There's big drama going on with everything in the Republican Party right now. There is a full-on, like just across-the-board meltdown with the Republican Party. And there's really 2 reasons that that's going on. Number one, for years, there has been a groundswell of people who just hate the Republican Party. They are in the I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about actual Republicans who have just been fed up that the Republicans do not govern the way they promise people they're going to govern. And for ground zero, you can look at the state of Indiana. Indiana is dominated by Republicans. Republican governor. All of the statewides are Republicans. Republican supermajorities in the House and Senate. 7 of our 9 congressional members are Republican. Our 2 senators are Republican. Most of our, at least central Indiana, well, really across the state, the local governments are Republican. And what do we get? We get record taxes, record government. I mean, we laid out yesterday. Braun is selling to you, the governor is selling to you, that he's done something on your behalf by suspending the gas tax. Well, then you start digging into it because people have said, well, how would you fund the roads? And he goes, no, it's fine. We're pulling it from the reserves. Well, reserves are overtaxation. I mean, when a government tells you about its reserves, that's a government collecting more in taxes than it needs to fund the government. And last year, the Republican-controlled government in the state of Indiana collected $700 million more than they needed to fund the government. So, like, when Braun tries to take a victory lap over suspending the gas tax and then acting like he's done some sort of Houdini-esque trick where, oh, no, you don't have to worry about anything. There's no road projects that are going to stop. Well, how are you doing that? Well, the reserves. Okay, so you overtaxed us by $700 million. You're now giving us a fraction of that back through suspending the gas tax, and you want us to applaud for you and then throw a parade. And there's a lot of us out there who are just completely sick of it. We've been sick of it for a long time, and it's reached a boiling point. I think you saw that in the primaries this past year, this past May, when many of these incumbents got defeated. As much as They want to make it about a Trump endorsement, which, by the way, you notice you don't hear nothing about the Trump endorsement in Iowa for governor going down. You notice that? You notice that you haven't heard a peep? By the way, the Iowa governor's race was fascinating. And I have made the case, and I said this for a while. I think that the turning point ground operation was way more important than the Trump endorsement. Trump endorsement brought money. It brought subserviency from people like banks who got the dark money to come in. But I think the ground operation is way more important in these local races than any sort of national whatever. But the Iowa thing was interesting because it pitted Trump, who endorsed somebody, against Turning Point USA, who brought their troops in for somebody, and the Turning Point guy won. Notice no commentary on the Trump endorsement going down in Iowa. But the reality is all of these state senators that went down, the biggest reason they went down was people were sick of years of bad governance. Travis Holdman, Greg Walker, Jim Buck. What did they all have in common? They'd been there forever. They were the power structure. This past May was about a repudiation, a rejection of the power structure that people are sick of. Look at the senators who right now have survived. Greg Good and Terre Haute hadn't been there very long. Spencer Deary, and we'll talk about Deary here in a little bit, this Copenhagen, whatever you want to call it, challenge to the election results in Lafayette is just ridiculous. And what they're going to try to make people do about talking about who they voted for, it's pathetic. But Spencer Deary, as of right now, he survived. Why? Hadn't been there very long. People in Indiana are sick of the Republicans making promises and not following through. And you're seeing this now, years of pent-up frustration finally playing out. That's the first part of it. The second part of this is the freak out, the Republican freak out, is that the order as we have known it is potentially going to crumble right in front of them. And what I mean by that is the Republicans have depended upon two things. One, the Democrats presenting candidates that are wholly unelectable, and there being no viable third-party challenger. Well, of course, and we'll find out tomorrow at the Democrat convention, but the likelihood is Bo Bai will be the Secretary of State nominee. And he's obviously going to present a different campaign, both in terms of presentation and money, resources, all of that stuff, than we've seen from the Democrats in a generation. And there is a likelihood that there will be a viable third-party challenger, Greg Ballard, in that race as well. Now, somebody told me yesterday, because the big question now is, where's the count at for Ballard? He's got to get 37,000 verified signatures. Somebody told me yesterday they signed the petition from the Ballard workers at the Brownsburg Farmers Market. And they said, I asked one of the workers, where are you guys at on the petitions? And this person told me that the petitioner said they were inside of 5,000 signatures left to go. Now, I don't know. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. I trust the person that told me this, that actually happened. But how much do they tell rank and file workers? Do they actually tell them the signature count? I don't know. But at least that's what they're telling people, that they're inside of needing, as of yesterday, 5,000 signatures in order to get on the ballot. That's what they're telling people publicly. With what? What do we got? 25 days to go-ish? Yeah, 25 days-ish to go. So they got to get, if that's the case, they got to get, is that 500 a day? Is that right? No. What's 5,000? I don't know. I don't have time to do math on the air. They got 25 days to get 5,000 signatures. Is that right? No, that's not right. 250 a day. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Basically, yeah, 250 a day. Bam! I did that in my head. Barely got through math in high school. Yeah. If I got 5,000 signatures in 25 days, that's 250 signatures a day. 200 signatures a day. Oh, that's why I barely passed math in high school. Yeah, that's the Brownsburg education system. Have I ever told the math story? Okay, this is a true story. When I was horrible at math. I was a good student outside of math, but I was barely getting through math because it was boring. It was complicated. It was like, I'm never going to need this. Why am I doing this? And so my senior year, I had to take a math to graduate. And they had me in the wrong math for years. This was the problem. They had me in the wrong math for years. I got in the wrong, like an advanced math, a math ahead of where I should have been in junior high, and then you can't get off that track, right? Once they put you on the track, you can't get off the track. And so going into my senior year, because I just didn't take math one year, because I'm not going to pass it. So I had to take a third year of math my senior year. And I went and told the counselor, I was like, look, you guys don't want me here any more than I want to be here. But I can't pass this trigonometry stuff. It ain't going to happen. What are we going to do about it? And so now this is commonplace. But back in the Stone Age, when I was in high school, the idea of what do they call it? The dual credit, where you can take a credit in high school that will apply in college. And so I think it was called like Math 132. This was groundbreaking. They're like, well, we searched the statute, and we think we can give you this Math 132, which is technically a college credit, if you get a certain grade in it, and it's much easier than trig, but we think we can do it, and who's going to object to it? Who's going to say Rob Kendall didn't actually graduate if you got 3 years of math? And they let me do it, and they gave me a diploma, and I graduated. That's how bad I was at math. Anyway, I was close. 200 signatures a day. That's the point. The point of all that is Ballard needs 200 signatures a day, if that person's accurate, in order to get on the ballot. Who knows, right? All of that to be said, it's a whole new ball game. The Republican Party is seeing a whole new ball game in which, number one, people have finally organized, and outside money has come in to which they can reject the old order and beat them at the ballot box, which hadn't been happening. A lot of people would huff, a lot of people would gruff, a lot of people would bitch, a lot of people would whine and complain, but it never translated into wins at the ballot box. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is the other old order, which is Democrats run incompetent people who are unelectable, and there's no viable third party to disrupt, even if they ran somebody good, appears to be falling apart. And so they're freaking out. And so you're seeing all sorts of reactions because of that. And it's part of what I've talked about for years, which is this quote-unquote Republican dominance is very thin. It's very thin. It happens. It's there. They win, but not because they're great. People would take something different if something viable was presented to them. Something moderate on the Democrat side. Something reasonable on the Democrat side. Certainly something viable on the Republican side. Look, I hear this all the time from people. Like, you're missing the boat on Ballard. Like, you have way too high of expectations for Ballard. No. Look, here's what I've said about Ballard. If Ballard gets on the ballot, which I'm not sure he's going to do it, it's a lot of signatures. The game is rigged against somebody getting on the ballot. The Republicans and Democrats have rigged the game against independent people being able to run for statewide public office. Deliberately. Jim Merritt told us that on Statehouse Happenings this week. By the way, if you haven't checked out Statehouse Happenings, it's under our video section. We have a Statehouse Happenings section on our YouTube. It comes down on all the podcast platforms. Check out Statehouse Happenings. 30 minutes each week where we take the biggest stories in Indiana politics and government. And one of the things Jim Merritt, we were talking about the Secretary of State's race and the conventions that are coming up. And one of the things Jim Merritt said to us was because he was a senator for years, as these laws were constructed, is that the ballot access laws were done and were designed to stop anything from disrupting. He didn't use the word cabal. I'll use the word cabal. The cabal from not holding on to absolute power. All of these voter laws are designed, and Jim Merritt was there when most of them were passed, to stop anyone from disrupting the complete control that Republicans and Democrats, because that's the thing, the Republicans are writing all these laws, the Democrats don't really object to them. Because in places like Marion County and Bloomington and the region, Lake County, Democrats like control. They like control too. They're just mad they don't have it, but they want the absolute control the same way the Republicans do. And so because of these two things, you are seeing an absolute freak out by the Republican Party, and you are seeing everything being turned upside down. And I've talked about that this could happen for years. It is now happening. There was a famous episode of Seinfeld, The Summer of George. Remember that? It was going to be the summer of George, where everything was going to be great, and he was going to do whatever he wanted, and he didn't have a job, and he was going to travel the world, and then he gets disabled. It was supposed to be the summer of George. If it is Ballard and Bai, no matter what clown the Republicans pick for Secretary of State June the 20th, no matter who it is, whether it's Engling, Diego, or Shelton, if Ballard is there and Bai is there, it's the summer of Rob. If I've got a whole summer and a fall of Ballard and Bai dropping a 10,000-pound hammer on whoever the Republican nominee for Secretary of State is, it's the summer of Rob. I've waited years for this day, but Ballard's got to get on the ballot. He may well not. He may well come up short, and then it'll just be another boring election. But coming up here in just a minute, I'm going to talk about two separate things that are very important that are going on right now. You've got Chris Garten leaving as the majority floor leader. He's going to challenge Rod Bray to be the head of the Senate. And you have the Republicans in the most laughable, disingenuous hypocrisy imaginable going at David Shelton over the fact that almost 15 years ago he ran for public office as a Democrat. We always hear about the idea of the big tent, right? We need more people. We need new people. We welcome Democrats who have seen the light. And then when somebody threatens the order, the power structure, they want those people to give them money, and they want those people to be subservient errand boys. When they say we want a big tent, that's what they want. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But first, it's Friday, guys. And if you're looking for something different this weekend, if you're looking to get away, if you're tired of the same old when it comes to food, we've got you covered. Our friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You know, Andy, our guy. Oh, wrong shoulder. Andy, our guy. No, that way. There we go. It's so hard to do it. I've got a video monitor in front of me so I can see myself and see the meters. And it's so hard because it's in reverse. There it is. Boom. Bam. Andy, our guy from Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, one of the owners. He made our fabulous sign. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil, huge supporters of this show, and they have the best dining experience imaginable. It's a secluded piece of property. It's in the trees. It's on the water. They have outdoor seating, a chance to breathe, a chance to relax, a chance to get away, and have a fabulous made-from-scratch meal, as they call it at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil, Hoosier Grub. They recommend the hand-breaded Hoosier tenderloin. They think it's one of the best in the state, but their full menu is outstanding. I have eaten there many times in my life. You never walk away disappointed. All the food made from scratch, including, you got to stay for dessert, one of the handmade pies. Yes. There is no bad option at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. Open Friday for dinner, Saturday for dinner, Sunday for brunch buffet. See the full menu by Googling Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, or you can call for your reservation at 812-443-3003, 812-443-3003. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, something out of the way, totally worth the trip, a beautiful evening on the water in Brazil. All right, we will take our first break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about these two things that are really big deals that are happening, that are showing everything is being turned upside down in the Republican Party. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the Central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
It's a show with a pulse. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. What do we do here, guys? You know it. We do 3 hours a day. Almost all of it's Indiana news, politics, and government with the pulse, with passion, with enthusiasm. No summer stock here, guys. If you know somebody who is looking for media with the pulse, if they're like, what the hell am I listening to right now? What am I doing? Is this person alive? Wherever that may be, send them over here because you know we bring the smoke minute after minute, day after day, every single day, and we do it with a smile because we actually believe it. We're actually fired up about it. We actually want change. We're with you. We think all these people suck. Hey, it's a Rob Kendall Show. We got to talk about these. I mean, the Republican Party is like imploding in front of us, and we've got to talk about what's going on. But first, before we do that, couple of housekeeping notes. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, if you're new to the program, I know we got a lot of new listeners yesterday. Welcome. So glad you're with us. Couple things you can do to help us grow if you like what you're getting here. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Number one, hit that little thumbs up button. If you're watching us live or on demand on YouTube, that really helps us grow. I know. You're like, that? Really? That? Oh, yeah, that does. Hit that little thumbs up button. Share the feed. Let your friends know. Nobody's doing local media with a pulse like us. Share it. You got a Facebook, you got a Twitter, whatever social media you're on, tell people about our program. All of our growth is organic. And last but certainly not least, whatever platform you're finding us on, if you're live with us on YouTube, if you're on demand on YouTube, or you're an Apple, you're a Spotify person, and God bless the Apple, Spotify, iHeart people. We don't give them enough love. There's thousands of them out there. They get a little lost in the shuffle sometimes. We love you just as much as our live listeners. Subscribe to the channel, whatever it is. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever the place may be. Subscribe to our channel and help us grow this program. Oh, yeah, and if you're on one of those other platforms, give us a 5-star review. The Apple people, that helps us out so much with that 5-star review. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. And that's how you can help the Rob Kendall Show continue to grow, provide great local content with a pulse. We are alive. We are enthusiastic. We are passionate because we are passionate about you. 2 other things. RobKendallShow.com. If you haven't done so yet, check out RobKendallShow.com. We have two things there. We have tons of things there. The live link, all of our on-demand platforms where you can find us. If you're like, are you on this thing? The links are up there, all the places you can get us. And each day, we do articles off our favorite segments on the show. The things we talk about here, we translate them into articles. We post them up there. If you enjoy the written word and you enjoy the topics we cover, get more of it at robkendallshow.com. Speaking of robkendallshow.com, first of all, we have a support button wherever you like what we do. If you found us and you say, I want to make sure that this great local content can go on forever and ever and ever, amen, hit the support button at the top of robkendallshow.com. $1, $10, $50, whatever you think we're worth. Even if you only think we're worth 50 cents, we're not going to turn it down. Hit the support button, robkendallshow.com. Thanks to our guy, Jonathan. Super generous contribution yesterday. If you hit the support button, say your name on the air, and you get an email from me. What would the value of an email from Rob Kendall be? Or have your name said by Rob Kendall on his fabulous podcast with the Pulse. There is no value. You can't put a monetary value on that. You can get all of it hitting the support button, robkendallshow.com. Also, speaking of robkendallshow.com, the live show. If you guys are new to us, we are doing a live show. You can come see us in person June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center in Greenwood. It's a celebration of you guys, and intimate. By intimate, I mean small. Now, what you guys do after the show, if you guys want to get intimate, that's on you. I don't care. But it's a great opportunity for us to get together to say thank you to you, our fabulous listeners who have helped us grow. Is this the end of week 14? It is the end of week 14.
Show 69.
This is show 69. We've made it 69 episodes. How about that? 69 episodes. You guys have been amazing. 14 weeks wrapping up today. And our way of saying thanks back to you guys is the live show. Chance for all of you who've gotten to know each other in the YouTube chat, the YouTube community, get together, celebrate with us. We'll laugh. We'll tell jokes. We're going to roast politicians. I'll use some spicy language. It's going to be great. Help us support the show. Get your tickets, plural, to the live show, June the 27th. Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center. It's going to be a great time. Live link available, robkendallshow.com. All right. Before we get to the GOP meltdown, let me tell you about our friends at Seal Now. Seal Now. They are the clean, seal, and stain professionals for all your outdoor concrete. Driveways, patios, sidewalks, you name it, they do it. Here's how this works. You're looking at your driveway, you look at your patio, looking at your sidewalk, cracks falling apart, looking bad. You're worried the HOA is going to come crashing down on you in no time. You don't have to. You call our guys at Seal Now. You can go from the one phone call, one click of a website. You can go from the black eye of the neighborhood to the envy of the neighborhood. They bring all your outdoor concrete back to life. But Seal Now does more than just concrete. They also do wood. So decks, fences, pergolas, you name it, any outdoor wood or concrete structure, Seal Now, they're your guys. Just go to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com. You can see samples of work they've done on other people's homes and how your house may end up looking. And you can get a free estimate. And what a deal this is, when you schedule your appointment, you tell our friends at Seal Now that you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take 20% off any long-term ceiling project. 20% off any long-term ceiling project just by saying, I heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show. Seal Now, SEALNOW.com. Okay, let's talk about some of the Republican implosion, the Republican freakout. And I was like, which one am I going to lead with today? Because they're both super interesting. I'm going to lead with the attack on David Shelton because there's just so much hypocrisy in this. And it goes back to one of the things I've talked about for years with you guys, which is the Republicans claim they want a big tent. You always hear this. We want a big tent. I always used to hear this when I was involved with the Republican Party. We're the party of big ideas. We're the party of diversity. We want a big tent. And it always appealed to me. And look, early on when I was first getting involved in politics in the early 2010s, That's one of the things that drew me, was I was welcome with the Republican Party. They didn't like me necessarily, but I was always welcome. They'd invite me to stuff. Oh, there's Wacky Rob. He's really just a libertarian who gamed the system and got elected as a Republican. But hey, he did it fair and square. Good to see you, Rob. Now go stand in the corner and talk to your other crazy friends. But I was always invited. I was always welcome. And I always viewed the Republican Party as a party of big ideas. What has happened over time is that when the Republicans talk about being a big tent, they're talking about bringing in people who will be subservient to them. They don't want new ideas. They don't want diversity of thought. They don't want people who can get in there and make a difference. They want people who will come in and be professional errand boys, totally subservient to them, and give them money. When you hear the phrase big tent, that is what the Republicans are talking about. People who will be subservient to them, enhancing the power structure, doing what they say, and giving them money. That's it. That's what it is. Because here's a perfect example of someone who did exactly what they claimed to want, and now they're attacking him. So David Shelton is the Knox County clerk. He's running for Secretary of State. Most of you know this, but we have new people in all the time. By the way, welcome. Welcome. And David Shelton, let me give you the resume of David Shelton, right? If I were to read you this guy's resume, you'd be like, dude, this is like the ultimate Republican. He's been elected to county office as a clerk, as a Republican, twice. He has been the Republican chairman of Knox County, elected twice. He has run for Secretary of State as a Republican now twice. He was appointed by Trump and Jim Banks, or their campaigns, as the petition signature coordinator. As most of you know, you have to get signatures to get on the ballot, whether you're running for governor or Senate or president in the state of Indiana. He was the 8th District petition signature coordinator for our U.S. Senator, and a Republican U.S. Senator, and our Republican president. He was also a voting delegate, a full voting delegate at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee in 2024. Like, that is the ultimate Republican resume. He's been elected as a Republican and repeatedly appointed to crap as a Republican. Nobody's ever said a word other than, good job. But now, 2 weeks before the Republican convention in Fort Wayne, I have seen, and it always is a coordinated attack, right? Because you never just see it from one person. And it's the same usual Republican power structure or Republican power structure minion or the Republican power structure hangers-on. And they spread like the plague. Like there's a talking point, and then it's all the same people. So it means they got the marching orders. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks before the Republican convention, where David Shelton is challenging, and is probably by most people now with the implosion of Diego, seen as the primary challenger to Republican power structure anointed golden boy Max Engling, there is now suddenly outrage that in 2012, David Shelton ran for local public office as a Democrat. In 2012, David Shelton ran in Knox County for county commissioner as a Democrat. And all of a sudden, I am hearing this outrage that some guy 15 years ago ran for public office as a Democrat. Now, keep in mind, for the same 15 years, I've always been hearing the idea of the big tent. We got to get new people involved in the party. We're a party of welcoming. We're a party of new ideas. Hey, if you're a disaffected Democrat, a disenfranchised Democrat, a disheartened Democrat, come to us. We want you. And so apparently David Shelton was like, okay, yeah, maybe that's the right thing to do. 15 years ago. We're not talking about 15 days ago. We're talking about 15 years ago. In 2012. Well, I guess it's technically 14 years ago. But whatever. It doesn't even matter. right? So let's review. 2012 is what we're talking about. Since then, David Shelton has been elected as the Knox County Clerk as a Republican. Twice, no one said a word. David Shelton was named the Knox County GOP Chairman. Twice, no one said a word. David Shelton ran for Secretary of State in 2022. No one said a word as a Republican. David Shelton was appointed Trump and Banks petition signature coordinator in the 8th District in 2024. No one said a word. David Shelton was appointed as a fully voting delegate to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee in 2024. No one said a word. And now, guys, 2 weeks before the Republican convention, despite well over a decade of being a diligent, loyal, hardworking Republican, suddenly now everyone is so concerned that in 2012, David Shelton ran for public office as a Democrat, previously voted in Democrat primaries. Now, what's fascinating about this, of course, these guys are full of crap. They're not actually concerned about anything other than Shelton is a threat to the Golden Boy. Because look, here's what the actual concern is about Shelton's threat to Engling. We all know how the convention works, right? There's 4 people running. There's a vote. And then there's another vote. And then who's ever last has to drop out. So let's just say most people think that'll be Jamie Rittenauer. Rittenauer drops out. Her voters go somewhere. Rittenauer's voters ain't going to Diego. And they ain't going to Engling. She won't even say his name. That's how much she dislikes him. Okay? Let's say Shelton. Let's say the first ballot is Engling first, Diego second, Shelton third. Well, after the first ballot, depending on how many votes Rittenauer gets, David Shelton could very well be second on the second ballot. So let's say the second ballot then becomes Engling first, Shelton second, Diego third. Because let's face it, if you're voting for Diego or you're voting for Engling, that's probably the max those guys are going to get. Whatever that number is, they so hate each other and they're so controversial right now, there's no room for growth. But if the second ballot is Engling and Shelton and Diego, and then Diego has to drop out because he's last, you think Diego's votes are going to go to Engling after Banksy and Rokita and the power structure derailed Diego's plan for 4 more years of the head honcho at Corruption R Us? You think Diego's going to give his votes to Engling? The power structure recognizes the most likely threat is David Shelton. Much the way Kelly Mitchell, who nobody was talking about, going into the convention for treasurer in 2014, ended up winning the race because the other 2 guys who were running couldn't stand each other. And these people recognize the threat that David Shelton actually is. So the best thing they could come up with, well, he used to vote in Democrat primaries. And 14 years ago or 15 years ago, he ran as a Democrat. But I thought you guys wanted people to convert. I thought you wanted people to change their minds. I thought the whole premise of the big tent was come over here. And what they're telling you is the premise of the big tent is we want you if you'll do whatever we say. You run when we tell you to run. You run for what we tell you to run, and you give us money when we tell you to give us money. Look at what they did to John Rust. They took Rust's money for years. Nobody ever said, well, Rusty, you haven't voted in enough Republican primaries. We don't want your filthy money. No, they said, give us your money. And then Rust said, hey, since you took my money, I'd kind of like to run for public office as one of you guys. What'd they say? No. Look at a guy like Sid Mahant. Sid Mahant's the fella in Avon who did run for Statehouse. He got smoked, but gave tens of thousands of dollars over the years to Republicans. What'd they do this past year? They tried to get him labeled as a Republican in bad standing. Thanks for the money, Sid. Get the hell out of our way. And by the way, the biggest hypocrisy in all of this, David Shelton voting in Democrat primaries is the exact same thing that the Republican governor of Indiana used to do. Mike Braun voted for years in Democrat primaries until he decided to run for public office. And all of these people, the Banks and Rokita minions and clingers and hangers on, the power structure, won't say a word about that. David Shelton, he's unfit for public office. But Braun, who did the exact same thing, not a peep. These people are scumbags. And they lie about the big tent, about expanding the party. Then they get a guy who did the exact thing they claim to want. Hey, I was a Democrat. I saw the light. I saw the better way. And I've spent 14, 15 years, whatever it's been, working to prove myself as a Republican, being elected as a Republican, being competent as an elected Republican, leading the county party, doing all the things that I was asked to do, all the things that you guys have said for years. We need to be a big tent. We need to be more welcoming. Except, I guess, if you're David Shelton and you threaten the power structure of the golden boy, Max Engling. Wild, man. These people, they have no shame. They have no shame whatsoever. And they are a laughable joke. They are a laughable joke. Speaking of laughable jokes, let's talk about another guy here in just a moment who was all about the party structure, all about the power structure until opportunity presented itself. We'll talk about Chris Garten leaving as majority floor leader in the Senate and what he's up to when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rob Kendall Show. 3 hours a day, most of it's Indiana news and politics and government. Yes, coming up here in just a little bit, I have my resume that I submitted the application to the 9 to noon show that's open on 93.1 WIBC. I will go through my resume with Jason a little bit later on in the program. Jason's hired and fired many people over the years, so I will ask Jason. So we will go through the resume that I submitted. And by the way, I want to be 100% clear, specific. This was a very sincere submission of a resume, and I'm very interested in the position, and I hope my resume will be treated as such, because it would be great if we could all go back together Like, all of this came out of us wanting to be together, right? All of the success that we've had. And so we'll go through the resume that I submitted here a little bit later on in the program, and I will have Jason tell me if he thinks this was if he saw this resume submitted to him, would he give me an opportunity to earn the position? Also, look, guys, somebody asked a question. When you donate at robkindleshow.com, there's a support button up at robkindleshow.com. When you support our show, I send an email to every person. I get the list, right, each day of here's who hit the button, here's the email they provided, and then I send an email. It's usually that day. It's usually that evening. Sometimes it's the next day. But I always try to get to a thank you email to every person, whether you've done it once, some of you have done it 10 times. Check your spam folder because I do send them out. So if you didn't get an email from me, check your junk folder, check your spam folder. Old man, I know the $17 donation because wasn't that what your Claritin cost? Isn't that why we did that? Yeah. Old man, check the spam folder. I know I sent one out to the $17 donation. So now we know old man's name, by the way. I know who the old man is, finally. But you guys can support the show at robkindleshow.com. There's a support button, top of the page. Speaking of somebody who supports the show, our great friend, Realtor extraordinaire, Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties. One of the many fine sponsors. Because in addition to being a broadcaster extraordinaire, I'm also a fabulous salesman. My sales skills are unmatched when it comes to radio and podcasting programming. And Lauren Wilson, one of our biggest supporters from the beginning. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, or even thinking about it, get with the professional. One of the things everybody should do, if you're even like remotely on the fence, find out what your home can sell for. Lauren Wilson loves to do that. She'd love to sit down with you in person, via Zoom, on the phone, and just go through. Here's your house. Here's what it can probably sell for. And then here's what you can get with that money. Look, buying and selling a home, all about planning. It's all about coming up with what can I get? What can I sell for? What am I looking to do? Put an advocate in your corner. Lauren Wilson, Hoosier lifer, military vet, Realtor with At Properties. By the way, Lauren's going to be with us next week. The real estate market in central Indiana right now, it is crazy. There are some neighborhoods, this fascinates me. She was telling me about this the other day. She was telling me about these neighborhoods, these towns, cities that are gangbusters, and then other places, it's like the Sahara Desert. So depending on where you live, now could be the most awesome time in the history of ever to strike. But you got to know. Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. All right, so we've been kind of talking about the Republican Party in Indiana coming unraveled. And we've been talking about it from the perspective of what's going on and causing it. And the two things that have been really going on to cause it, one are all of the incumbents who got defeated in the spring. And all of these longtime incumbents and powerful incumbents, Greg Walker, Jim Buck, Travis Holdman, that sent shockwaves through sort of the party power structure. And then you've got this real idea that 5 months from now, you're going to have a Democrat Secretary of State and a third party with primary ballot access. Doesn't mean it is going to happen. It means it could happen. And the Republicans are freaking out, and you're seeing this play out in real time. We just talked about the response to David Shelton, which is wholly ridiculous that 14, 15 years ago, he runs as a Democrat for public office. But also, yesterday, it came out that Chris Garten is stepping down as majority floor leader, and most people believe he's doing that to come for Rod Bray as the leader of the Senate. Now, this article comes to us from the Capitol Chronicle. Numerous other media outlets covered this if you want to read all the details about it. So Chris Garten has been in the Senate. He's from Charlestown. He's been in the Senate since 2018. And he was appointed by Bray as majority floor leader, so part of the leadership, the power structure. And basically the way the order works is this. You've got the pro tem of the Senate, who's the big boss. You've got the caucus chair, who's number 2, and the majority floor leader, who's number 3. So Bray put Garten way up in the power structure. And Garten, for the most part, now not on every vote, but for the most part, has been a very reliable ally of Rod Bray. And they've sort of been on most things, most of the big issues that have harmed us as taxpayers, lockstep. And by the way, just full clarification, I'm not saying any of this because I like Rod Bray. I'm not saying any of this because I want Rod Bray to stay in charge of our state. I'm telling you this because when somebody is appointed to the power structure, they don't appoint them to the power structure without believing they're one of them, without having a voting history that makes them one of them. And so that's why I refuse to get excited about a guy who was elevated high up into the power structure suddenly saying, well, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. It's just too much for me. Here's what Garten said about stepping down, about rejecting Rod Bray, and about moving out of party leadership. Quote, as we navigate the complex issues facing our state, it has become clear to me that serving as floor leader requires a seamless alignment with the current strategic direction of leadership, an alignment I no longer maintain. Quote, continuing in this role without unequivocal support for that direction would be a disservice to the office, to leadership, and most importantly, to all of you. This is a letter he wrote to his fellow senators. My question to Chris Garten would be the same question I asked about the people who abandoned Diego Morales. What's changed? Rod Bray has been the same person the entire time he's been Senate Pro Tem, Senate leader, since David Long stepped down. There's nothing different about Rod Bray. Rod Bray's position on redistricting was very consistent with his position on everything else. So the question to Chris Garten is, what's changed? The Republican Senate under Rod Bray, the entire time he has been the leader, closing in on a decade now, has been the same. Republicans grow taxes. They grow government. They take taxes from poor and middle class people. They give it to super rich people. That's what they do. The tax burden of Hoosiers has never been higher. The average Hoosier has never been higher than it is right now when you incorporate all of the taxes in. And you have to incorporate all of the taxes because a lot of the local taxes have been granted permission and essentially encouraged by the state. And many of these people enacting the taxes are Republicans. And many of the taxes have been enacted because they're taxes that were at the state level or things that were taken care of at the state level that were pushed onto the locals. So the tax burden has never been higher than it is right now under Republican dominance in our state. The question to Chris Garten is what's changed? I'll answer it for him. Opportunity is what's changed. Chris Garten, during redistricting, saw an opportunity to be the guy. The old Ric Flair saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! And Chris Garten, who is a politician through and through, saw his opportunity to beat the man. Woo! Big man! That's what he did. He saw the opportunity that Rod Bray became uber vulnerable to because of a huge swath of the Republican Party, the Trump base, which means, as we saw in the most recent elections, the Trump base and the Trump core of support means money, power, and activism. And so Rod Bray opened himself up to Chris Garten, and Chris Garten is trying to walk through the door. He gives this incredible Mr. Smith goes to Washington, Garten did, Mr. Smith goes to Washington speech about redistricting. Not about property taxes, not about utility bills, not about brazen corruption at the IEDC, not about stopping the governor from raising taxes, $6.5 billion tolls on I-70, not stopping billions of dollars in tax increases on poor and middle-class people to pay for the Bears to have a stadium, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, not the insourcing of jobs from India and other foreign countries, us taking jobs from Hoosiers, and paying these companies to bring these foreign workers in. No. The Mr. Smith Goes to Washington speech wasn't about any of that. Things that would have actually helped you. Chris Garten's speech was about redistricting. Why? Because the opportunity to take down Rod Bray didn't exist on a Mr. Smith Goes to Washington speech on property taxes or utility bills or stopping insane psychopathic tolling or cleaning up the brazen corruption at the IEDC. No, it existed in redistricting. Garten went on to say, I look forward to exploring how to further advance the conservative principles that separate Indiana from the rest. What conservative principles are those, Mr. Garten, Senator Garten? Is it record property taxes? Are conservative principles raising regular people's property taxes and then giving away billions of dollars every year to big businesses, which is what you did in the property tax bill? Is that conservative principles? Are conservative principles giving utility companies repeated carte blanche to skyrocket people's bills, double and triple people's bills? Are those conservative principles? Are conservative principles overtaxing people to the tune of $700 million last year, which is what went into the reserve fund, which is what the reserve fund is? It's overtaxation. Are those conservative principles, Senator Garten? What conservative principles do you speak? Is your idea, Senator Garten, because that's what has caused you to break from Senator Bray, because for the most part, not on every issue, but on most issues, Garten has been a reliable Bray vote. That's why he was elevated to party leadership. Are those principles, are those the principles you speak of? Or is redistricting the conservative principle? Is your idea of conservative principles rigging the map to win elections you can't win by governing? Look, people want Garten to be the guy, right? Oh, look at the speech. Oh, if we just get Garten in there, it'll be great. What about his voting record? Don't pay any attention to that. He gave a great speech on redistricting. Yeah, but what about his actual voting record of the raising the taxes and the crony capitalism and all the other BS? No. The speech was great. Any person who looks at Chris Garten's actual voting record, you're going to see pretty much the same thing with Rod Bray. Pretty much in alignment that these guys vote the same way probably 98% of the time. Why would you think he's going to govern the Senate any differently? It's the same question I asked about the people who beat the incumbent senators. If they won't tell you what they're going to do and how they're going to do it in specific detail, why would you think they're going to govern any differently than the people who were already there? Property taxes should be lowered. Great. How are you going to do that? What government program are you going to cut? What are you going to demand locals do differently? I'm going to lower property taxes. How? They don't have any answers for that. They all said it. We're paying too much for utilities. Okay, what are you going to do? You're not getting any specificity from these people. You're not getting any clarity on what they'll do. And with Chris Garten, yeah, he gave an awesome speech. If you were for redistricting, if you thought that was the way to go, you loved that speech. Lots of people have given great speeches. It doesn't mean they're good at governing. It doesn't mean they're going to follow through. It doesn't mean they're going to do a damn thing to make your life any better. And Chris Garten's record since 2018, the overwhelming majority of it is lockstep with Rod Bray and lockstep with leadership. And the voting record is what matters. By the way, if Garten wants to dispute anything I'm saying, he's gotten lippy with me on Twitter before. You're more than welcome to come in and we can have the conversation. You're more than welcome to come in and have the conversation about where Rod Bray has failed and why, despite you pretty much being lockstep with him, you're the guy to enact change. And I'm being totally sincere in saying this. I welcome that conversation. I don't go off words because words are meaningless. I go off voting records. because voting records are what affect my life. Your words have no effect on my life. Your speeches have no effect on my life. Your voting record is what impacts me. And I think a lot of people are going to be sorely disappointed. He's going to run for leader of the Senate. He's going to do it. And look, no tears if Bray goes. See, the great thing about being in our position here, we can be against all of them. No tears if Bray goes, no cheers if it's Garten. Because I've seen the thing play out too many times. The special interest stranglehold in this state is too strong to have an institutionalist, which Garten now is, to break it, to stop it, to crush it. You cannot have an institutionalist in a position and a power of influence of deciding who has been there as the stranglehold has occurred and expanded by special interest over our politicians, and he hasn't spoken out against it and think he's going to be different. You can't do it. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. Hey, guys, you got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. I was actually talking with the Bramwell Mackay folks yesterday. Another job from one of you fine viewers. They love you guys. You guys have been awesome responding to our friends at Bramwell Mackay. They love doing work for you guys, and they do an awesome job. All right. Guys, we don't do a ton of national here, but I have to ask the question when we come back because I think it's a prime example of why we need the SAVE Act, why we need national voter ID, and we need national rules around our elections. California is still counting votes 3 days later, and they're not even close. And the election results, as they always do, are starting to change in favor of Democrats. What the hell is going on with California? We'll talk about it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Often imitated, never duplicated. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you to each and every one of you, our fantabulous listeners who tune in every single day, thousands of you across the various platforms, growing by leaps and bounds. Thanks to every single one of you who has liked, who has shared, who has subscribed. And look, we got some great things coming, guys. There are some awesome things coming on the future of this show, and it's all because of you guys and the just unwavering, unbreakable bond that we have together, that no matter where we go, you guys were going to be there, and it's all because of you. We can't thank you enough. If you're new to our program, welcome. You know what we do? We do 3 hours a day. Most of it is Indiana news and politics and government. And the like, share, subscribe. That's what we ask you to do. It's a great way to help the program grow. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the show. Share it out. Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got. Let people know we're here. And if you haven't done so yet, whatever platform you're on, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, hit your subscribe button and be a part of it with us every single day. Let's talk about California real quick. I know I said Indiana politics and government. That's, you guys know, that's 90% of our content. But I saw this, and look, I am a huge proponent of voter ID. Voter ID and reasonable rules around absentee voting, and it's pretty hard to rig an election. Like, if you have a requirement that somebody has to show an ID in order to vote, and you have reasonable restrictions around absentee voting, like when you can vote and when your ballot's got to be mailed in by and when it's got to be received by, it's almost impossible to rig an election. And I think that's why you've seen in Indiana, there has never, ever been, at least to my memory, somebody claim an election was stolen, right? Some verified claim. Now, I'm sure some people might have claimed, I lost by 7,000 votes. It was stolen from me. But an actual verified claim of any sort of election interference, election that altered the election, whatever, right? That's because Indiana. Now, I think 28 days is way too long for early voting. I think 2 weeks is plenty. If you really want to do something, and an election day, you can make it work. And by the way, I'm a proponent of making Election Day a holiday. The polls are open. You go vote for any reason. Your boss can't stop you. You can't be stopped for any reason. You leave work, whatever, right? I'm a proponent of that as part of that reform. But even with the 28 days, we have voter ID. There are strict rules around our mail-in balloting. So you have a really good idea that the person who is voting is that person, and they are mailing in their ballot before the election takes place. And thus you have a very almost always seamless election whereby 10 p.m. on election night, other than very close races, which are eligible to go to recounts, and that's fine. But by 10 p.m. on election night, 99% of the offices, here's who's won. Now, there was a mistake, like what was it in Knightstown, where some people got the wrong ballots, and that's a huge controversy. That's an anomaly. It does happen, but that wasn't any ill intent. I don't think anybody's out there like the election people out there were trying to rig the election on the Knightstown Town Council or the Knightstown Clerk Treasurer's race. By and large, we have very good elections in Indiana. California is a disaster. It's a disgrace. It's disgraceful. And what's happening in California is why there are people out there who do the stolen election stuff. It gives absolute, not just gas, but rocket fuel to it. If the incompetency that is being displayed in California, and look, I get that California is a much bigger state than Indiana, but this ain't about being a bigger state. There's lots of much bigger states that can count their ballots on election night. Texas would be a great example. This is about either brazen incompetency or brazen corruption. Blatant incompetency or brazen corruption. Let me give you the stats on California. California's election was Tuesday. Now, we got to set up how California's elections work because this is also a different animal, and this is also ridiculous. I am a proponent of Republicans having Republican primaries, Democrats having Democrat primaries, whatever other party, like, hey, let's say there's a Lincoln party this time next year, them having their party, Libertarians having their primaries, and then everybody gets on the ballot. I am not in favor of taxpayers paying for the primaries, but I'm in favor of people having their primaries, and then the winners go and they meet in the fall in the general election. However many parties there are with ballot access, that's who goes on in the general. Parties pay for their own primaries, and then everybody votes at the end. In California, tell me how screwy this system is. In California, everybody runs at the same time. There could be 90 Democrats running for an office. There could be 90 Republicans running for an office. There could be 90 independents running for an office. They're all on the ballot at the same time. Like if you look at they call it a primary, your primary ballot in California, it's like a CVS receipt, man. It's ridiculous, the amount of names. And then in each office, the two top vote getters move on to the general election regardless of party. So there's no guarantee it's going to be a Democrat and a Republican. A lot of times it's not. A lot of times the general election is Democrat versus Democrat. How screwed up is that system? Okay, so that's how their elections work to begin with. Here's where we're at in California. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You had all night Tuesday to count the ballots. All day Wednesday, all day Thursday. We're now on to Friday. And here's where they're at as of this morning. As of my check at about 7:30 this morning, according to NBC. California's governor's race has less than 60% of the votes counted. 40% of the vote remains, guys. 3 days, 3.5 days, whatever in. There are 3,280,000 votes uncounted. 3,280,000 votes remain uncounted 3.5 days later. Right now, and this is what I'm about to talk about. Right now, there is a Republican leading. His name is Steve Hilton. He's got 27% of the vote. But every day that goes by, he loses ground to his Democrat challengers. Every single day, the Democrats gain on him. Becerra, who was he was the HHS secretary under Obama, and Tom Steyer, who's a gajillionaire, are the two Democrats chasing him. Right now, Becerra is the leading Democrat. So if the election were called right now, it would be Hilton, the Republican, and Becerra, the Democrat. But Steyer, who is also Democrat, is only down 400,000 votes. He was down a lot more than that on election night. And over the last 3 days, as these votes have trickled in, Steyer has gained on Hilton. He's down now 400,000 votes with 3,280,000 votes to go. Guys, there is a very, very strong chance that by the time all these votes are counted, it'll be two Democrats running against each other. The Republican won't even be involved, even though the Republican was winning on election night. In the Los Angeles mayor's race, only 64.3% of the votes have been counted. 35% of the vote remains uncounted. There's 311,000 votes uncounted. 3.5 days later. Currently, Spencer Pratt, he's a Republican. He's the reality TV show guy. He's in second place. Karen Bass, the Democrat incumbent mayor, is leading. She's won. She's already been declared one of the people who will make it to the fall. But Spencer Pratt, the reality TV star, is in second place. Every day, he's lost ground to the other Democrat running behind him in third place. He's now down to about 33,000 votes ahead. Look, this isn't about whether a Republican's going to be mayor of Los Angeles or a Republican's going to be the Republican governor of California. Neither one of those things are going to happen, but it's about they're not even going to be on the ballot to have the conversation. The left is not even going to allow the conversation. Guys, you'd notice in these blue states, all of these ballots that trickle in, the Republican never picks up votes. And you guys know I'm the last person to ever defend or shill for the Republican Party. But this is ridiculous. 3 days later, 3.5 days later, and you've got millions of votes left uncounted. 40% of your votes aren't counted. 35% of your local votes aren't counted in the mayor's race. That's beyond unacceptable. This is why we need a national voting set of national voting requirements. Because clearly these states like California can't get it done. It's 2026. It's not 1826. Indiana, Texas, these other states, they can do it the night of. And even if you give, okay, California's even bigger than Texas. Give them a day. We're on day 3.5. And we're not even close. It's not like, hey, 90% are in, man. Just give us time. It's going to be a week and a half. And when it's a week or week and a half, people start thinking, well, then you can make it whatever you want to make it. It can be whatever you need it to be. This is why people believe shenanigans took place in 2020. Because this is the exact same thing that happened in all of the swing states. Hey, election night, Republican leads. Hey, election night's Republicans ahead. And the one time that there was all this mass mail-in unaccountable voting, which is what can happen in California because they don't got the voter ID like we do here, all of a sudden, all of those states swung to the Democrat. All of them. How is that possible that it happened in all of the states? You had, in the case of Pennsylvania, the Republican Senate begging the Supreme Court to take the case, saying, hey, a bunch of stuff happened here. The Republican-controlled Senate in Pennsylvania was begging the Supreme Court, saying, please, take this case. We believe we did not approve these changes that our state made. We believe these changes were made unconstitutional. For some reason, the court didn't take the case. Look, I believe Trump handled it all wrong. I mean, you're sending Rudy Giuliani out with hair dye streaking down the side of his face. Trump handled it about as bad as he possibly could. The thing with the voting machines was ridiculous. He shouldn't have gone into that. But there were all sorts of things like Pennsylvania where you literally have a governing body of the state saying, somebody please do something with these mail-in ballots. Why is it that every time we have the mass mail-in unaccountable voting, Republicans, it takes forever to count the votes, and Republicans always lose? I'm not being facetious asking that question. How is it never trends in favor of the Republican? Look, I don't know if this is brazen corruption or just blatantly incompetent. But you can't be counting votes, and I'm seeing Democrats say this, like Democrat commentators, Democrat people, because it's so bad. I've seen members of the media that are liberal be critical of this because it's so bad. You can't expect the results to be altered in the manner they are over days or weeks and not expect people to think something is afoot. To think some level, high level of shenanigans aren't taking place. That doesn't make people bad for seeing this and going, wow, something seems off here. Something doesn't seem right. So if there's nothing afoul, you're creating panic and hysteria. You're creating doubt. And it's a horrible look for your state because no matter who wins, nobody has any confidence that that's who it is, that that's who the winner is. What a horrible look. What a horribly disgusting look. Guys, our super listener Ken Egold sent me a message last night. And he went to Double D's Barbecue yesterday for the loaded baked potato. He sent me a photo of the baked potato. It was unbelievable. He was like, the potato was so big at Double D's, the loaded stuffed baked potato, I couldn't even begin to finish it. I got half of it done, and I had to say I'm taking it with me. Ken's one of our super listeners, by the way. And so this is my opportunity to tell you, head out, to Double D's Southern Barbecue in Clayton this weekend. You will not be disappointed. You will love it. They have ribs, they have brisket, they have Mississippi farm-raised catfish, they have wings, they have the loaded baked potato, they have all of it, right? All of the stuff is available throughout the week, various times of the week, at Double D's Southern Barbecue in Clayton. It's on 40. It's a little bit of a trip, but totally worth it. The owners, Dennis and Tina Duncan and their son Garrett, are from Memphis. And so when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. And by the way, they bring receipts, best ribs, and best sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County, winners of both. Find the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more, ddbbq317.com, ddbbq317.com. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. All the food's made from scratch. All the sauces are made in-house. Get there early. Once they run out of food, they're done because they make it by hand each day, make it from scratch. ddbbq317.com. All right, when we come back, this is funny. So there is this Senate race in Lafayette that was decided by 3 votes. We've covered it at length. Spencer Deary, the incumbent, despite all the effort of Trump and the Turning Point USA people, he was victorious by 3 votes over Paula Copenhaver. And now Copenhaver is taking the case to the Indiana Election Board and potentially to court. And what she is challenging, trying to force people to testify who they voted for and why, is gross beyond words. But it's what she's doing. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to tell you all the nasty, disgusting, gory details when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, it's the Rob Kendall Show. Welcome back. It's Friday. Hope you're having an awesome day. We bring the smoke, we bring the heat, often imitated, never duplicated, 9 to noon each day. Indiana news, politics, and government you're not going to get anywhere else. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for joining us. We so appreciate you guys. Help us grow. Tell your friends about the Rob Kendall Show. All you got to do, a couple of things you can do right now, hit that little thumbs up button if you haven't done so yet. Really helps us grow. Also, you can share the feed, Facebook, Twitter, wherever your social media is, and subscribe to our channels. Those 3 things help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. Jason is going to Shelbyville today, by the way. This is what our show does that nobody else does. And it was the last thing we did on IBC, by the way, was take down the Mid-States Corridor. See, this is why we'll never be replaced. It doesn't matter where we are. Nobody's going to do what we do because nobody hates the government like us. It's in our DNA. It's in our bones, man. When it's my time to go, if somebody opens that casket 20 years later, they'll just see hatred for government seething out of whatever got sealed in there. So Jason's going to Shelbyville on the square. It's going to be on the square. The Eye of Egypt. It's a big event in Shelbyville. And Jason is going to be there at 1. Is that right? 1-ish? If you guys, if you're a Shelbyville person or you just want to go out and meet Jason, I mean, that's like, meet your favorite former baseball star or whatever. Jason's going to do interviews for people on the data center stuff in Shelbyville today. He's going to put together a big package that we're going to maybe play on Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. See how long it takes him to put it together. But, of course, yesterday we had so many people from Shelbyville flooding in. Welcome to all our Shelbyville people. And about of course, there's this massive data center complex that we've covered at length, proposed there. The citizens are vehemently against it. The city council overrode a negative recommendation from the planning commission. And then the mayor, this dirty, rotten, Scott Ferguson, is that the dude's name? I think that's his name. He got caught on tape just ripping on people, demeaning them, saying they lived in horrible houses, saying they were all renters, just saying horrible stuff about the people that live in Shelbyville. And so we covered it yesterday, and Jason got invited out because he's charming and he's charismatic. He got invited out, and he's going to go interview a bunch of people about what's going on out there, which is exactly how we stop the Mid-States Corridor. Stop a bad project 2.0. We're going to try to stop the data center in Shelbyville. That's our new thing. So Jason will be out there today at 1 o'clock if you want to, on the square in Shelbyville. Eye of Egypt. That's the thing. Doing interviews, doing recordings. And look, guys, that is why people always, how do you do what you do? Because we love it. We live it. We're willing to take it on. And unless you're willing to do that, you can't be this. So one of the things that so many people who want to get into this business, when they ask about like, well, how do you do it? You got to live it. You got to believe it. You got to see it. And living it and believing it and seeing it, and that's the problem with our business now. A lot of these people are grifters, man. They don't believe it. They don't see it. They don't live it. And when I say it, I'm talking about a better life for you. One of the things that we have been given in our position is the ability to create or try to create or fight for a better life for you. It's how I've always viewed this business. Every conversation, every policy we talk about, it isn't just about talking, or it shouldn't be. For a lot of people it is. That's the problem. For a lot of people it is just about talking. It's about talking just enough to get their name out there and then get invited to stuff because that's how they view success. They want to be friends with the politicians because they view being in the orbit as their acceptance, right? Their justification. Hey, these people like me. No, they really don't. They're using you. But I've created a world in which everybody who, whether they like me or not, they know it's real, man. And we're willing to do these things. We got no monetary gain out of doing this. It's just going to disrupt Jason's sunny Friday afternoon. But we believe the sinuses, well, thanks to the old man giving you that $17, you don't have to worry about it. But we believe it. And so if you're in Shelbyville, you're the Shelbyville people, come see Jason today. He's going to be at the square there, 1 o'clock, taping some interviews about the data center, about the mayor, and we'll run that package sometime next week. All right, let's talk about this is the most ridiculous thing imaginable, but it is totally par for the course for the Indiana Republican Party, the power structure of the Republicans. It's right on. Before I do that, though, hey, are you thinking about buying a home or refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homeowners and home buyers explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. Clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes or call today 317-695-5179 to learn more to get started today. You got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. Call for a free, no-obligation quote. 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS, number 179207, with Verity Mortgage, NMLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. All right, so the Indy Star had a big expose today the other day. And I got behind on my reading, guys. I freely admit. This actually came out in the Star the other day, and I just now got a chance to read it this morning. I told you guys I'm dog sitting, and not that I had any free time to begin with, but now I gotta keep track of a dog, in addition to just all the other stuff I have to do. So I am a little bit behind on a couple of my stories, but Indy started a big, huge expose, and it's very well written. Encourage everybody to go read it on the challenge that is going on by Paula Copenhaver in regards to losing the state Senate race in Lafayette. It's 6-county race, Senate District 23, to Spencer Deary by 3 votes. It's incredibly small total. It's amazing the race was that close. And it is an example of where, in cases where every vote can count. A lot of people don't vote because they say, oh, my vote doesn't count. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, to this, to that. Your vote does count. You do need to vote. It does matter. Copenhaver is now filing a challenge to the results of the election. And she is challenging and trying to attempt to do the dumbest thing ever. But it is Indiana, so she might get away with it with the Indiana Republican Party. Who knows? All right. So what Copenhaver's challenge centers around is she has found a group of people who either posted on social media or gave interviews with Dave Bangert, who is a local journalist up in Lafayette, claiming that these people are Democrats who illegally crossed over and voted in the Republican primary. That's right. She claims that people illegally voted in the Republican primary, not that they voted in the wrong precinct, not that they weren't registered to vote. She's mad because she's trying to claim that it is illegal for them to vote in a Republican primary. And what she's trying to do is she's trying to essentially subpoena these people and get them under oath and force them to testify about who they voted for and why. Now, what Copenhaver's campaign is arguing is that this centers around a decades-old law requiring voters to have voted for a majority of a party's candidates in the last general election to be eligible to vote in the primary. This is one of these laws that's been on the book that's so ridiculous, nobody's ever tried to use it. So you can't contest a law that nobody's ever been aggrieved by, right? You have to have what they call standing in order to challenge a law. Well, it's so ridiculous, nobody's ever tried to use it. Or if a voter didn't vote in the last general election, the law says the voter should pledge their intention to vote for most of the party's candidates in the next election. So my question would be, what about me? I have been a Republican in good standing for 20 plus years. I have been an elected Republican. I was a precinct committeeman. I was a delegate to the convention. I leave the majority of my ballot blank every year. When I go into the general election, and it will be the case this year, the majority of my ballot will be left blank. Because I only vote for either Republicans who have governed like Republicans, or they're campaigning, and I believe them, which is fewer and fewer people these days, to govern like Republicans, like the party platform says, low taxes, limited government, Or I'll vote for a candidate who is saying that thing. Sometimes it's a libertarian. I've even voted for a Democrat in the past because they were pledging to do more Republican things than the Republican. But most of my ballot every year gets left blank because I believe votes are earned. And if someone doesn't earn my vote, regardless of the office, I don't vote for them. All of the offices. My vote is earned, it's not given. So the majority of my ballot is left blank. So how about me? Why don't you challenge me? Why didn't someone challenge me? Is my vote illegal? Because I vote in the Republican primary every year in foolish hopes that Republicans will govern like Republicans and earn my vote. And when they don't, I don't vote for them. Or I vote for another party. If that person is pledging something more attuned to Republican principles than the Republican. What about me? Am I an illegal voter? You guys realize how ridiculous this is? And by the way, they're so inept in the Copenhagen campaign. One of the people they challenged wasn't even in Copenhagen's district. They saw some broad on social media and were like, she pledged to cross over. Go get her, attorneys. And then they turned out, oh, damn, that person isn't even in our district. Okay, we withdraw our challenge to this person. There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. She's so stupid. She made the challenge before she knew where the person lived. That's what they're doing. They're just throwing anything against the wall and hoping it sticks. Hey, that didn't work out. Maybe this will work. Oh, that person doesn't live here. Well, maybe this one does. Copenhagen's petition says several voters tried to, quote, game the system unlawfully. The recount petition argues that the public comments of 11 voters proved they did not comply with the law and that their ballots should be counted. She paused her challenge of 3 voters she identified through social media, including one of the woman I just mentioned, after learning they did not live in the district. They're just making it up as they go along. They're challenging people that didn't even live in their district. Quote, this is according to Copenhagen. The presumption of legality is overcome by the evidence because people are like, you can't ask people who they voted for. Your ballot is private, lady. You can't do this. Here's her response to the people saying you can't do this. The presumption of legality is overcome by the evidence of the identified voters publicly disclosing that they unlawfully requested Republican ballots by crossing party lines and voting in Indiana Senate District 23's Republican primary despite lacking the Republican affiliation required by the Indiana Code. Let me tell you about some of the posts that they're challenging on. And by the way, no, lady, you didn't even challenge the right people. That's how clueless you are. Some of the flag comments, according to the Star, include, quote, I and some friends I've talked to did it to support Deary against the MAGA challenger for voting against redistricting. Will I vote for him in the general? No. Okay, so what? If you want the lesser of two evils, but you're not for either, then you can vote for whoever you damn well please. I've done that before. Where, hey, maybe somebody will go to run in the general. I've got 2 idiots to choose from here. This idiot is less harmful than the other idiot. I'll go with him, but I don't want him to win in the fall. So you're only getting 1 vote from me. Why don't you sue me, Paula Copenhagen? Why don't you sue me, Indiana Republican Party? I'd love the opportunity to, under oath, talk about my voting history. I'd love the opportunity in a recorded courtroom or in front of a recorded election board, tell the Republicans exactly what I think of them. Go ahead and throw my vote out. Here's another one. I voted in a Republican primary for the first time in my life. I left my entire ballot blank except for Spencer Deary. That's me. I think I voted in 3 races. Maybe. What did I vote for this time? Congress. Statehouse, county council, town council. That's it. The rest of it was blank. Because I voted for the people who earned my vote. I voted for the people who earned my vote. I voted for one of the township board people, I think. My point is, though, is like most of the ballot was left blank. Because if people don't earn your vote, you're not required to vote for everyone. You're not required to vote for anyone. So one of the women that was challenged before they figured out, oops, she doesn't even live in our district. She got interviewed by the Star. She outed herself and said, yeah, interview me. And they asked her what she would say if she got called to testify. This is great. I love this woman. She's my new favorite person. My answer is none ya. Like as in none ya business. I'd probably show up in court and I would just tell them what actually happened and not tell them who I voted for, who I intended to vote for, because it's really none of their business. Bingo. This is about the Republicans trying to dominate and control every facet of everything and rig the game in their favor. And then even when they do it, if they don't do it well enough, then they object to the rules they created. This is the Republicans objecting to the rules that they've created. They're mad that the system that they rigged wasn't rigged enough. And one of these women who they interviewed, who got challenged, said it perfectly. The same woman, I think it was. The Republicans have so gerrymandered the state, the only way to get a say in who your elected person is going to be is to vote in the Republican primary. It's the same reason Mike Braun gave me that he voted in the Democrat primaries for all these years. It's the same reason Mike Braun gave me. Yet no one says a word about Braun. Have you guys noticed that? No one ever says a word about Braun doing the exact same thing. Here's what the objection is going to be. Now listen to this. This tells me Deary's, or rather Copenhagen's people are just totally grasping at straws. Here's the law. They're citing this law, right, about you have previously voted for a majority of our candidates in the fall election, or you have pledged that you will vote for a majority of our candidates in the fall election. Here's what the Star said. The law's enforcement mechanism relies on voters challenging each other when at the polls. That's the key. The law's enforcement mechanism relies on voters challenging each other when at the polls. Like you show up and you say, I'm Fred Flintstone and I want a Republican ballot. Somebody's got to point at you and go, no, I challenge Fred. You can't do it after the fact. Matthew Kochevar, Indiana election, I'm sorry, Matthew, I'm Kochevar. Matthew Kochevar, the Indiana Election Division Co-General Counsel, said in an email that a challenge has to be made before the voter has completed signing the poll book and been given their ballot. Bingo. Common sense. Once you voted, you voted. If they told you you could vote, that's on them. You can't unvote somebody's vote. The challenge voter would then fill out an affidavit declaring how they voted at the last general election or their intentions for the next one. So if you knew Donald Duck was a lifelong Democrat and had voted for all Democrats, and you knew when Donald Duck was coming to vote, and Donald Duck showed up and said, I want a Republican ballot, you could then say, no, I'm challenging Donald Duck's vote. Now, it doesn't mean it'd hold up. It doesn't mean it'd stand the process, which it wouldn't, but that is what the law requires. It's so obvious in black and white, and Copenhagen's people are now in reverse trying to go, no, you got to unvote this person's vote. What country are we living in? The Soviet Union? Your vote doesn't count because we don't like who you voted for. This is unbelievable. Copenhagen's trying to say, since they made their votes and their ballot a public choice, the petition argues that they have lost their right to ballot secrecy. What are we doing? What are we doing here? This is a person who wants to be your senator. Do you think she's going to represent everyone? Do you think this person is going to represent the people that she's challenging their right to vote? Holy smokes. This is a total ridiculous fishing expedition. And this is the Republican Party now. I am appalled by this. And in the modern Republican Party, guys, there's a better chance than not they might find some way to let this challenge stand. You never know with these people anymore. I mean, they kicked Rust off the ballot after a local judge ruled in his favor. Who knows? Who knows? One thing I do know, selling your home is a massive endeavor. It's a huge deal. And you need a pro on your side. You need an advocate on your team. If you go it alone, if you go it with somebody who you just saw a big name and went with them, if you go it with anybody other than a trained professional who wants to be your advocate and invests in you, you're not going to get the best result. Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties, is who we recommend. She's a huge supporter of our show. She's one of you guys. She'd love to get to know you and your circumstance and figure out, put a plan together for you to make a few bucks off your next moving experience, and she'll take all the worry out of it for you. Hey, I got a concern. Call Lauren Wilson. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson, Realtor with At Properties, huge fan, huge supporter of the Rob Kendall Show. By the way, and we try to do this every show. Sometimes we don't do it enough. You know, when we started, we were just 2 hours. And then you guys said, hey, we love the 2 hours. Can you do 3 hours? I said, I'm going to need somebody to step up and help me do this. And John Rust did. Speaking of Rust, Rust is the sponsor of our third hour. We couldn't do it without him. Each day, we're able to bring you an extra hour of entertainment. I'll tell you what and really why you guys should be so thankful to John. Really what the third hour allows us to do is do more comments from the YouTube chat. If you guys remember in the beginning, we were kind of doing like 10 minutes and then out, and we kind of had to rush it. The third hour really allows us to make you guys the star. And I know you guys love the YouTube chat. Dude, there were like so many comments last night in the pre-thing that you set up. It was unbelievable. That community and the chance to read your comments and let you guys, be stars that you deserve to be because you are stars is because of John Rust. So we can get to all of our stuff in the first couple hours and a half, and it allows us to showcase you guys, which I think is very valuable because it allows me to respond to you guys. For those of you who don't know, at the end of every show, or we wrap up our show, sometimes it's 30 minutes or more, depending on how good the chat is each day. Jason reads the best comments of the day. I respond to them. We have back and forths, etc. And it's brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. The only rule in order to be a part of the chat is you got to be a subscriber. That's it. That's the rule. Got to be a subscriber. It's part of that like, share, subscribe thing that we do. And speaking of which, coming up here in just a little bit, before we get to the chat, I'm going to read my resume that I submitted yesterday to Jason. You guys told me to do it, so I did it, and it was very sincere. I took the process very seriously. I submitted an application for 9 to noon on WIBC. And so I thought, well, this might be kind of fun. I don't know if I've ever actually filled out a resume. Maybe I did. I might have had to do it when I first got hired there 9 years ago. I think I might have had to do it then. 10 years ago now, whatever that's been. But I don't know. I think I had to do one for the state, too, even though there really wasn't an interview. I think I had to have a resume. But I was like, what the hell's a resume look like? I had to, Google, what does a resume look like? And then my wife comes along, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm making a resume. She goes, I can just throw that into AI for you. I said, no. This is going to be me. I'm going to do this myself because I'm going to use it tomorrow and see if people like my resume. See if you guys think that my resume, would you hire me based on my resume? Could anybody have a better resume than me? So what we'll do here in a little bit, I've still got a little more content to get to. We'll take our final break, and then we'll come back with sort of an extended into our show in which I'll go over the resume with Jason, and then we'll get into the YouTube chat. Would that work? Have we only done? All right, I'm going to take a break. We'll figure it out during the break. We'll come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, I'm going to read my resume that I turned in yesterday. And I'm going to see, because Jason has hired and fired many a radio broadcaster over the years, if this resume would be enticing. And if he thinks somebody will present a better resume than I did. And I tell you this, that I submitted this with the utmost sincerity. I took my time putting this resume together and filled out the whole entire application process, because you guys said, the thousands of people who listen to the show every day said you wanted me to do it. So I did it. And I'll get Jason's thoughts. Jason may tell me he has not seen the resume. He has not reviewed the resume. And he may tell me, this stinks, I would never hire you. And that's okay. That would be the most hilarious thing ever. If he was like, you suck, I would never hire you. You're done. All right, a couple things I wanted to get to first, though. Number one, the Republicans helped tank the SAVE Act again, guys. And we touched on this earlier with the California stuff. The SAVE Act is essentially this national voter ID requirement. And why any Republican? Look, I get why the Democrats would vote against it. We see why the Democrats would vote against it. See California and what's going on there. And now every time there's this, it takes 5 days or a week or whatever to count these votes, the Democrats keep ticking up. You notice it's never the Republican states, and the Republicans never benefit from it. But 4 Republicans joined with all the Democrats to vote against the national voter ID deal. They included Susan Collins of Maine, up for re-election, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, Tom Tillis of North Carolina. McConnell and Tillis are both retiring and are not up for re-election. It's not Murkowski's cycle, I don't think. So what they tried to do, what the Republicans tried to do, was they tried to attach the SAVE Act to this $70 billion reconciliation package they're working on. So just to kind of reset what happened here. The Democrats shut the government down. They're mad about ICE. They're mad about border security. And so what they did is they shut the funding for Homeland Security down. And what that meant, that's why all the TSA agents weren't getting paid, the Coast Guard, all this stuff. And that went on forever, and the Republicans finally wimped out and were like, hey, we got to do something here. Hey, we can't let this go on forever. Hey, we can't not have the TSA agents getting paid. So they caved, let the Democrats win, and they funded all of Homeland Security except for border security and ICE. And so what they decided to do is do this reconciliation package. Reconciliation, for those of you who don't know, is when you can avoid the 60-vote filibuster in the Senate. You can get it with a simple majority of votes. You can only do reconciliation a certain amount of times each year. It has to be related to the budget. And we've talked about in the past how the parliamentarian is the umpire. The Democrats can challenge whatever they want and say it isn't, they call it germane. Germane, it is not germane to the budget. And then the parliamentarian makes the choice. So what the Republicans tried to do was hook this thing, this SAVE Act, to the budget, the reconciliation package. Now, the 4 votes ultimately didn't matter because it would have taken 60 votes to get it into the reconciliation package. So it's probably never happening. Look, the SAVE Act is not ever happening. And what this really was about, because it wouldn't have mattered whether these Republicans voted for it or not. What this was really about by these 4 people was sending a message to John Thune, the Senate leader. Because what Trump has done, Trump has pushed for the Republicans to end the filibuster and go to what he calls go to what he called a talking filibuster, which is the way it used to be. Like where you can prevent legislation from becoming law as long as you sit up there and talk about it. And that was the olden days. So-and-so read the phone book for 48 hours. He was peeing in cups. He had to have him bring a toilet onto the floor. You know, that sort of thing. They don't do that anymore. Any senator can essentially call for a filibuster, and if there's not 60 votes, then the issue doesn't go forward. They did that to save their own time because they don't want to deal with it. Trump has urged the Republicans, in order to pass the SAVE Act, to go back to the talking filibuster and say, hey, you want to have the filibuster, you're going to earn it, and eventually you'll run out of time. But what this was really a message for these 4 Republicans was sending a message to John Thune, because what this really was a vote on the talking filibuster. These 4 Republicans were telling John Thune, if you try to enact a talking filibuster, you don't even have the votes to do that. That's what this was about. Look, any person who thinks that you should not have a voter ID in order to vote, they want voter fraud. No, I'm sorry, that's what they want. There's nothing. Indiana has proven this. Numerous other states have proven. Look, both voter ID is so non-controversial. Both Democrat candidates for Secretary of State, Bo Bai and Blythe Potter, have both said we support Indiana's voter ID law. It is beyond non-controversial. And by the way, Blythe Potter, super liberal. But she's common sense enough to recognize having a voter ID is not oppressive. It's pretty damn simple. Anybody who wants one can get one. Anybody who wants to vote can vote. And yet, in these states like California, somehow it is the world's biggest deal. And look, I hate to agree with Lindsey Graham on anything. I hate it. But in this one, I totally do. He said, quote, and by the way, Fox News had the article that I'm working from on this. There's no other reason to say you don't have to have an ID. It just makes cheating easier. Who wants non-citizens voting in our election if you're against that? That makes me wonder. Right. Anybody who is a legal citizen should be able to vote, and it should be easy to vote. It is in Indiana. It's so easy. And you guys know, I'm a big proponent of support. I support the college ID stuff. Because I believe the ID should be about knowing who the person is. The ID should be about, does this person in front of me match the picture in front of me and the name in front of me? And then you sign, right? And does the signature match up? That's another safeguard. Like, that's what the ID should be about. And it is a huge barrier to fraud. One of the reasons we don't have it here, the major reason, is voter identification. And I'm not an absolutist on voting. I'm not a paper ballot person. I think the paper ballot idea in the modern era is squirrely. There's not a single verified case that a machine did something wrong. There's not even really allegations, right? We asked Jamie Rittenauer about it when she was in here because she's all in on the paper ballots, and she danced around it back and forth. You know how long it would take to count paper ballots? You know, if we're going to rip on California, we'd still be counting the paper ballots here. The machines work. Don't hook them up to the internet. Have voter ID. Limit your early voting. Make sure every early voter has to have a valid ID, and that process is in line. And the election system pretty much should work in a fairly streamlined manner. But this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to say you don't have to have an ID in order to go vote. But that's where we are, and apparently 4 Republicans feel the same way. That's the Republican Party. Just ridiculous. And they made me agree with Lindsey Graham, which I hate even more. All right. Hey, guys, you got a masonry color mismatch? Previous repair catching your eye? Not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offers specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, Bramwell Mackay is your guys. They are your guys. Bramwell Mackay are your guys. Bramwell Mackay is the guy. You call Bramwell Mackay. That's what you do. Want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. One other national thing, and then we'll get to the resume, and we'll get to the YouTube chat. We'll have a fun third hour on Friday. The Republican senators voted against the ballroom. There were a bunch of Republican senators that voted against the ballroom and took down the ballroom as a part of the bill. There were 6 Republicans who voted with the Democrats. Now, let me explain the ballroom. This is fascinating. So here was the proposal that was put forward by Jeff Merkley. He is a Democrat senator from Oregon. And you guys tell me why this would be a bad proposal. I'm actually Team Republican on this, who voted in support of. Well, let me explain the amendment, and then I'll explain what they voted for. The amendment would have given, and by the way, this comes from the Hill, the amendment would have given Congress sole authority to construct a new ballroom and would have barred any federal funds or private donations from being used to build the new ballroom without congressional approval. 6 Republicans voted with the Democrats. They were Susan Collins of Maine, up for re-election, John Husted, Ohio, up for re-election, Jerry Moran of Kansas, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Dan Sullivan of Alaska, up for re-election, and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, not running again. Collins, Husted, Sullivan are all up for re-election and currently losing in the polls. Now, this amendment required 60 votes. See, it's always confusing when you try to explain this stuff. This amendment required 60 votes. They didn't get to 60 votes, even with the 6 Republicans. It put them at, 53 votes, so it won't pass. But this vote by these Republicans was clearly about sending a message, and I don't think it's any coincidence that 3 of these people who voted for this are up for re-election and losing in the polls. And what the message is, or what they're trying to get through to their constituents, inflation is the issue. Houston is in Ohio. And we just read to you that Fox News poll from Ohio where inflation was the number 1 issue for 43% of Ohio voters. It's a red state. It's a really red Republican state. And Sherrod Brown is leading big time in the polls right now against the incumbent. And people are pissed off about inflation. And people have started to catch on that inflation is tied to government spending. Stop printing money. Stop spending money. And look, there's no way you all right? There's no way you're going to get money from private donations from people who don't want something in return. And people are like, just stop. We're sick of our dollars being doled out to special interests, to donors, to lobbyists, which is where all these people are going to give private donors are going to give money where it's going to come from. And we don't want our public money being spent for it, so just stop. Focus on the price of food. Focus on the price of gas. Focus on the price of housing. Stop printing money. Focus on shoring up Social Security, which is running out of money. Stop focusing on stuff like this, which isn't an urgent need. It's an urgent want. And I don't think it's any coincidence. Look, I know some people get mad when I'm critical of Trump. Inflation is the issue, guys, and Trump is not addressing inflation. He has not addressed inflation. It's why he was elected. Look, I know there were some people that voted about the border. They voted about border security, all of this stuff. I know that. I get that. But the major dominant reason that Donald Trump was elected, one, was Kamala Harris was so bad, and she was seen as an extension of Biden. But he was elected to get prices under control, and it has not happened, and in many cases, it has simply gotten worse. The ballroom is sort of the big visual of it, right? The ballroom is the example A. It's seen as grandiose. It's seen as excess. It's seen as a time of lavish spending on a non-necessity when everyone is getting crushed at the price of everything because government won't stop spending money. The Republicans either don't get it or don't want to get it or I don't know what. But they better get their act together because you're seeing all of these Republican incumbents. Now, for Susan Collins in Maine, that Plattner guy is a dumpster fire, and he may dumpster fire himself right out of the election. She may end up winning because he is such a piece of crap. And now there's a movement to dump the Plattner guy, the Democrat, which we're a family program, so I don't even know how to address the Plattner guy. Janet Mills is the guy who's running it. She's the governor of Maine. She withdrew her campaign because he was so far ahead, and then all the stuff started coming out on him, and now people are like, just vote for Mills anyway. You know she'll run. She's still on the ballot, even though she's not running. So Collins may end up getting lucky, but in Ohio, way behind. Alaska, Sullivan's behind. North Carolina, the Republican backed by Trump, way behind. People are pissed about the prices, guys. And the Republicans don't seem to be doing anything about it. All right, we're going to take a break. Final break of the show, extended third hour, thanks to John Rust. Well, it's third hour, which is extended programming. Thanks to John Rust. When we come back, I'll read you my resume. I'll read it to Jason. I'll get his honest assessment. We'll do extended YouTube chat. We'll talk about Jason going to Shelbyville in a little bit. So much to get to, guys. We got a lot. It's going to be a fun Friday, 11 o'clock hour. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Friday. We're going to have a fun third hour coming up here in just a little bit. We make you guys the star. We open up the YouTube chat. We read some of your comments. And look, I get great value out of this because it sparks new conversations for me. And one of the things that we do here that I wanted to do for years was create a sense of community. That it's not just about being a listener or a viewer. You're part of a family. And that YouTube chat has been such a great way to do that, and that's why we want to showcase you guys, encourage you to participate. We get hundreds and hundreds of comments every single day, and you guys talk about things that we haven't talked about here on the show. It gets us off into some new and different topics, so we don't view that as a throwaway. We think it's, in fact, it may be the most important thing we do on the show. It's brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. It's coming up in just a little bit. All right, a couple of reminders. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button. Hit that little thumbs up. Well, our goal every day, get to the 200 by the time we bring Jason in. That's always our goal. We're closing in on 200 likes. That's our goal because Jason's in a foul mood if we don't get to the for the YouTube comments, if we don't get to 200. So if you haven't done so yet, hit that little thumbs up. Couple of other reminders. Don't forget, if you like what we do, if you're new, welcome to the program. You can support our show over at robkendallshow.com. If you enjoy this great local programming that you're not going to get anywhere else, you can support the show. Hit the support button, robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. We've also got the ticket link. If you are like, man, these guys are charismatic beyond words. These guys, they are just charming beyond belief. You can meet us in person. June the 27th, a fun, intimate evening together. Well, we won't be being intimate together, but, small, nice, fun setup, celebration of the Rob Kendall Show. Get your tickets now. Come hang out with us. Meet these other fabulous people in the YouTube chat. And if you're a regular YouTube chatter and you haven't gotten your tickets, what in the world's wrong with you? You got to get your tickets now so we can meet you, so we can put a name with the screen name. And we are looking forward to meeting you guys. June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club, Event Center, in Greenwood. It's a celebration of you guys, a celebration of the show. Get your tickets. We got the ticket link up, robkendallshow.com. All right. I thought what was something fun we could do, and this came at the urging of you guys, since it's Friday, send you guys into the weekend with something fun. There's producer Jason. Hello.
Hello, how we doing?
Great. Now, it's not time for you to read the YouTube chat yet. That'll come in just a moment.
No.
But so the origin of this is, I don't know, this was a couple weeks ago. I started getting tagged, and there's all these radio boards, like people talk about radio and things that are going on.
Right.
And I started getting tagged in these various radio boards that apparently they had, Urban One, who owns WIBC, had finally posted, I guess, the opening for my position, which I had not been in since January.
Okay.
And people started saying, because our podcast is doing so well, and we have so many people who used to listen over there that now listen over here, Rob, you ought to apply for your old job back.
Yeah, you need a job.
And I just, I kind of laughed it off at first, and then more and more people started saying, and I said, well, I want to do this. I'll open it up to our fabulous audience, because thousands of people that used to listen over there now listen over here. And I said, if they think it would be an interesting exercise, then I will do it. Not as a joke. I will sincerely put out an application, because I still to this day have no idea why I'm not there. None. No idea why I'm not there anymore.
I've got a few.
Well, I have no verified
suggestions.
I've verified nothing. Never, nothing. And I thought, well, maybe if I get an interview, maybe they'll talk about corrective action from the last time that I have no idea what it was.
Well, they could have done that before
Well,
they
I
fired
know, right?
you. But yeah, that's.
But I thought
Would you
maybe,
have listened?
It's been what, 5 months? So,
Right.
Time
Right.
heals all
And it
wounds.
flies by,
Yeah,
doesn't
whatever.
it?
And so I said, do you guys want me to do this? And I said, if you want me to do it, I will do it. And I will do it in a sincere fashion. Like, I'll put time and effort into my resume. I'll take the application serious. And if they were to call me for some reason, I would have a serious conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so overwhelmingly, everybody said, do it. I think there were only a handful of people who said, don't do it.
The people who want the job.
Yeah, the people.
We know who that guy is.
So I said, okay. And I was going to do it earlier this week. And I just got, busy. And the dog sitting is killing me. Even a tiny dog.
Yeah.
That just.
That's why I don't have friends.
Yeah. I felt bad.
They
So I was
ask
like,
you to do stuff.
this dog, I'm a dog sucker, right? Like I'm a sucker for dogs. I can't,
Right.
I had dogs for years, and so I was okay. And it's a very nice dog, and it's well behaved. It's just like the 2 a.m. I got to go out thing. And God bless the dog for telling me he has to go out.
Right.
Not going in my house.
That's right.
And he's doing it, and he's coming back in.
Dog, right.
All I have to do is give him a little treat, but it's taking up extra time.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it yesterday. I had about a spare hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I've got
so
an
the
hour.
kid sleeps through the night and the dog wakes you up.
And so I said, all right, I'm going to do it because people are starting to think I'm bluffing or whatever, and I really
Right.
wasn't. I just got so
Right.
I was woefully
So let's
busy.
hear how experienced you are, Rob.
Okay,
See
so
if you're qualified to be a radio talk show host.
It was like, and this is a public application. It's like I'm revealing any insider information. You could go apply right now for this position. Any American in the continental United States could fill out the application. There's nothing I'm revealing here that's any sort of company secret or anything. You got the standard thing. Are you able to work in the U.S.? Are you all the address, all the blah blah blah, right? And
would you work with a co-host?
they did not ask that.
Oh,
That was not asked.
oh,
No,
if
no.
they asked you.
Well,
if you got to the table and they said, "Would you work with a co-host?"
Well, here's how I want to do this, because you have hired and fired many people, right?
Right.
So I want to go through my resume with you,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want you to tell me, would you be intrigued enough by my resume to interview me? And then I will allow you to ask what would you ask me, right? How about that? Like, what would you want to know?
Well, most of my hiring and firing was in the strip club, so I don't think you're prepared to do an audition. But we'll go ahead and look at the resume
Yeah.
here. And Baby Fishmouth, we'll get to your comment
and then,
here about
and then we
the,
will get to the YouTube chat.
yeah,
And
yeah.
all right.
a lot of good comments today.
So the last
questions.
So the bottom of the resume, because I didn't even know how to do resume, and I had to Google
Right.
because it's been years and years and years. And my wife offered to throw.
They didn't
AI.
teach you that in the Brownsburg High School.
Well, it's been so
senior
long.
economics
I'm
class.
so old now.
Yeah,
I'm
you are getting up there.
terribly old.
Yeah.
But my wife was like, I could just throw this in AI and do it for you. I was like, no. Like, I'm doing this. This is all me. So I thought maybe instead of do you want me to do experience first or skills and abilities first?
Let's go with the quickest one: skills and abilities.
Skills and abilities.
Yeah.
All right. So here's
That'd be
what
the
I
shortest
listed
list.
as
Yeah.
my top skills and abilities. All right. Number 1, unbreakable bond with WIBC audience. 2, attract and hold tens of thousands of listeners each day. 3, create content entire station evolves around. 4, sell my WIBC programming to generate revenue.
What would the salespeople do?
And 5, work and elevate coworkers regardless of talent level or lack of experience in talk radio.
That was on your resume.
Yes.
Well, I don't see anything wrong there so far.
I mean, did I say anything that...
No, I mean, let's see. Usually your material circulated throughout the rest of the shows.
Right.
Gave them material. You actually, on the other shows.
Right.
Okay, so that one's clear.
Yep.
What was the one about elevating your coworker?
Work and elevate coworkers regardless of talent level or lack of experience in talk radio.
Or interest in learning their job.
Well, I mean, you think about, the person I worked with
Right.
had no, talk radio experience.
Right.
We were number 1.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me on a carnival tour before they hired her of various people.
Who all said, I do not want to work with Rob Kendall.
Many of them had no talk radio
Right,
experience,
right.
right? In terms of any sort of sustained, career or whatever. And with those people, that was under Emmis. That was the old company. We did so well those 2 books before they hired Casey, I got the max bonus, which they withheld from me for a period of time because they said it must be a mistake. They were like, the ratings cannot
Who would
be
listen
this
to Rob
great.
Kendall?
And then finally they were like, to their credit, they were like, he actually did this good. Give him the monies.
Right. Right.
And
then show him the door. He brought in so many listeners.
Well, Immis didn't show me the door. Immis showed themselves
Oh,
the
that
door.
was Immis. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was Immis before Urban One bought us.
Okay.
Um,
So what else you got there?
was that any,
No, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's okay.
anything you'd say was like outrageous?
No.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Education, because it did list an education
I
requirement.
think you've mentioned a time or two that you went to Brownsburg High School.
I did. I didn't put that in there though because it was not my top level of education.
Oh, that's true.
I listed my bachelor's degree from IUPUI.
Okay. Do they require a college degree?
There was some level on the thing of
or prior experience,
well,
which you would qualify.
I would, but I think they had some level of education requirement, if I'm recalling properly.
I think that's just standard on every.
Yeah.
I don't think they.
That's
hard to get educated people in radio.
I asked you about that because I said, what difference would it make whether you've had a college education if you can do the talk show? Or not?
Problem-solving skills, things like that. I mean, people just give up.
That's why I hired you. You are the problem solver.
That's right. So
I don't
maybe I should be applying.
You should throw it here too. Okay. Experience. Then experience.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a one.
How far back did you go?
My time at WIBC.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't go all the way back to high school.
No.
That's a no-no.
No.
It also shows your age, and you don't put your age on an application.
Oh, is that bad?
That is bad. Yeah, you don't put your age on there because they're not supposed to hire or not hire based on age, sex, race. You wouldn't put I'm a 40 whatever year old white male. Do not use pronouns. I mean, you don't put any of that stuff.
And by the way, this will be my resume to all media entities.
Are you trying to get
all media entities that would inquire about
the producer
my
Jason show?
This is my resume now.
Andy, can you make me a new sign? It's a long chat.
Once I did it, I was like, this will work great for any person that wants to consider hiring me.
True,
so now I have a resume.
Okay, so you anything else?
Yes, experience.
Oh,
which I thought was very
we
important.
did that. Right.
March 2026 to present, host Rob Kendall show.
Oh yeah, shows that you have the ability to.
Here's what I just
be creative.
Listed as the bullet points on that. 3-hour daily talk show covering primarily Indiana news, politics, and government. Felt like that would be something an Indianapolis radio station would need to know about. Thousands of listeners each day, both live and on demand, most of them Central Indiana based.
Okay.
Oversee and execute sales packages to numerous businesses for advertising to support program. Basically supporting you.
Okay.
But I didn't list that. I just said support program.
All right.
So that was the what I listed for my current thing that I'm doing.
Right.
Then after that, below that, because you go in reverse order.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Host Kendall and Casey show, 93.1 WIBC.
Co-host.
March of host Kendall and Casey show,
okay,
93.1 WIBC. March 2022 to January 26.
I distinctly remember you constantly cutting in and telling Casey, "This is half your show too."
I did my best.
Co-host.
Well, it comes back to
maybe one day you'll be hired.
Work and elevate coworkers, regardless of lack of talent or lack of experience. Elevate coworkers.
They check things like that, details.
Well, I would be happy to have
the details.
I would be happy to have that conversation. Right. But elevating your coworkers, that's what it's all about. You elevate your people. You always make them feel like we're a part of a team together.
Right. You never insult them or make them feel less than you.
Number 1 rated program in Indianapolis for 9 to noon time slot. Strong leader relationship with listening audience and advertisers. Our advertisers were very happy, just like they are here. Lead talent on most show content, because I think I kind of took the lead on most of the things that we would discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, right?
Right, sure.
She would kind of get into the topic, and then I would.
Here's the headline, Rob, go.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's all accurate, right?
That's all, yeah. That's the role. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's the role.
Host Mock and Rob
That's
show.
what I would do.
Yeah. Host Mock and Rob show, 93.1 WIBC. November 2020 to March of 22.
Co-host, but go ahead.
Right. Number 1 rated program in Indianapolis market for 9 to noon time slot.
Well,
strong relationship with listening audience and advertisers. Then
very strong.
Last on the list, producer Chicks on the Right. 93.1 WIBC.
If nothing else, you can board op.
That's right. I can run the board.
That's right.
I can do it all.
Right. That's right.
Which there was times when they would not be at work.
Ethan sounds like some pretty stiff competition you got going on there. Ethan's getting pissed.
In charge of pulling and playing all audio for program, running mixing board for program, including coordination with news and traffic departments, and host of speed round segment each day and regular fill-in host for program.
Oh, the speed round.
Remember the speed round?
I remember the speed round.
People loved the speed round.
You were at your peak with the chicks.
You think so?
I think.
Was
Well,
that
not
the
the
best?
chicks. I mean, with Mock.
Yeah.
That was
the Mock and Rob
That was
show.
a perfect dynamic.
Yeah.
She was very upbeat.
Yeah.
She was more intelligent than you, and it showed. And that was a good dynamic. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, she brought her own, right?
Yeah.
She brought it to it. And when you would go off, she would just laugh at you. And it would break the tension.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to go off the rails and then pulled you back on.
Right.
And you didn't have that
Right.
lately. So
that is my resume.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
It's a one-pager. I feel like I tried to be as honest and accurate as I possibly could.
Right.
Job descriptions, etc.
I'd bring you in and talk to you, but
Right.
you'd have to wow me.
What would wow you as a station
I don't know.
manager? You've been a station
you
manager
want no
before.
arrogance. You want humility.
Yeah.
You want somebody that would show up every day, and you absolutely have the track record of that.
That's right.
So, got to get along well with your coworkers.
Yeah.
And I'd have to call your former employer and get a reference.
What if you are the former?
We can't say his name, so we will just say he. We'll refer to him as he. Go ahead and ask me anything you want about him.
So, there you go.
I don't know.
Like, what would you ask me? Like, if you were,
can you work for minimum wage?
Well, they pay more than minimum wage. Little, you used to work there.
They would never hire me
Like,
again.
if you got into take IBC out of the question. If you got into radio management again, like you were running a radio station, let's say you were able to start a talk radio station.
Well, it depends on who your competition is, Rob. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Ethan says he can do production work too, so you don't have a whole lot there.
Oh.
He gets along well with his coworkers.
Yeah.
People like him.
Yeah.
So,
well, go to him then.
Yeah. Ethan, we're doing it for you, buddy. All right. So, whatever. I don't know. It's going to be funny to see. We need some acknowledgement that they actually received it, saw it.
I got an email.
You got an email?
Yeah, he was.
Form.
The form.
The form.
Okay. It wasn't
there
like
you go.
a human sent me an email.
Right.
But it was
and don't look forward to that.
It was a very sincere application.
Mm-hmm.
I think my resume speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay. Well, it sounds like you're qualified.
Thank you.
I don't know if you could do the job or not. I think time would tell. Devil's in the details. But, I'd say you're probably qualified.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that makes
we'll see if they think so. It's a professional community over there, so a lot of stiff competition.
All right, now it's time for you to be the star. Well, them to be the
is.
star, and through you, they facilitate through you.
We've been patiently waiting.
Black Sheep Plumbing.
That's right. This segment, officially the chat is on the air, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Owner John McKinney is a Hoosier lifer, takes pride and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services, repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. So give John a call or text 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558. I can't remember him off the top of my head like Rob does. He on these
Steel Trap, baby.
Just
Steel Trap.
Not me. All right, so that's that gets us started in the chat, which was a pretty awesome one today. Couple quick things. McLovin's asked.
Yeah.
We don't want to go into we don't want to go into major detail about this, but how long we've known each other.
Yes.
That's McLovin's question. She asked it yesterday, repeated it again today.
I first met Jason as a small boy. That's a true story.
Yeah.
And then I unmet Jason for a while, and then so when Jason
you might want to explain that.
Jason used to have a sports talk show on the he was on the county radio station.
QFE, WQFE,
Right,
101.9 FM, Brownsburg, Indiana.
Wasn't even KLU back then,
was
was
QFE.
it? Was you and GIF, wasn't it?
That's right. Me
Yeah.
and Brian Giffen, the second voice of the Indianapolis Indians behind Howard Kellman.
That's right. And then later Butler football, and then went to work for the Braves. GIF does the Double D's barbecue voice. He was also the original
That is true.
Doug Cobb voice.
We drag Brian everywhere. Him and Brian Scott. Hey, guys, we got commercials need to be cut.
Good old BS. Yeah, so anyway, when I was a kid, I used to call in Jason's sports talk show and win tickets to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met Jason then. I went to get the tickets from him. I met him as a child. And then Jason was really my first boss in radio when I was 18.
That's why he turned out the way he's
right. When I was
awesome
18,
talent.
got an internship at the county radio station, the same radio station, although it was WKLU by then.
Right.
And then
the Quinn brothers.
Jason's
Dan
unwillingness
Quinn?
to go do actual worked for me because I was like, I'll go do those coaches' interviews for the high school sports
The alcohol
show.
got in the way. They wanted me in way too early.
Not to be imply that you were like drinking while doing the interviews. You'd be like working at the bar.
Everybody has their day.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I've known Jason for not quite 25 years, but almost.
So yeah, that would be. And yeah, basically, I hired Rob as an intern. I saw the potential. Nobody else did. They all wanted him fired. That is not a joke.
Oh, that's true.
And everybody wanted Rob out of the building.
Except for
Jay Baker.
Jay liked me.
Jay Baker and I were the two that were like, give little Robbie a chance. He'll never amount to anything, but just give him.
It'll be harmless.
I swear to God, the lady that called me from your school and said, hey, I've got this kid, and I'm pretty sure what she had said was, if you do me a favor, he like thinks he's going to be this radio guy. And
right.
He loves the idea of radio and everything, and he wants to work in radio. I don't think he's really got the talent for that. And she did not mean it in a mean way, but this is the conversation. But it would mean so much to him if you could just let him come in and show him around and let him meet a couple of the peoples. He would just think that's the greatest thing in the world. And I brought you in, and I'm like, you know how to use a tape recorder? Yes. Here, go do something. And so you're lucky I didn't take her. She didn't mean it she just meant like if somebody wasn't like that would not be your thing.
Right.
And obviously she was wrong.
Yeah, well, that's in fairness. Well, that's how I got hired at IBC too. They just Hammer was like, I know this guy, he doesn't have any talent. You just bring him in, show him around. Get out of your hair.
We still got listeners. Okay, so let's continue on with the chat. Okay, the chat. It's like growing into its own thing. Eventually, we won't need the Rob Kendall show.
It'll just be
chat. We'll just have the chat.
The chat brought to you by Black Sheep.
Because it's just amazing. So now when I set this up, when I pre-make the chat, or not the chat, when I pre-make the video, whatever. Okay. Somebody asked what equipment we use. So real quick, it's OBS, nothing special. It's OBS, OBS. It's a program you put in the computer, and you hook the cameras up and the microphones and everything in the computer. It all just spits it out like it is now. Not that easy. You got to work with it, but I forget, and we'll get down to later on who asked that question. But that's how we do it. And so you have to set up the YouTube stream in order to actually stream. And so I do that the night before, so when we come in, it's ready to go. Well, people have picked up on the fact that it's starting to get set up the night before, and they've started coming in, and you can chat.
Oh.
And so you can do it all night. Now, at some point, it cuts some of them off, and some of them it doesn't, so I'm not sure how that all works. But we had chats from like 12 hours ago that are new chats. So, and it deleted a couple of them. The Dutch Todd Gack was the first one in.
Seinfeld guy.
He was very, very happy that he was the first one in. And I didn't get the Seinfeld reference. So that's, what is he, Dutch?
Seinfeld guy.
I guess that's the reference there. So I'm one of those people that can never remember movie references or jokes or anything like that. So, all right. So basically we get to Jan Hatch.
Yeah.
Who says, I will not be left out. Kind of out of context there, but basically everybody's like, we're here and you're not. And she's like, I'm here. I will not be left out. MLM Warriors, since the secret's out, everybody's showing up tonight. The Dutch Todd Gack. That's Rock Laws. Wow, just noticed the episode number for tomorrow, a tricky number.
Today is episode 69.
I didn't get that. I understand what he means.
Yeah.
Episode 69.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Steve Green with an E. This is getting out of control. Yes, I agree. Spray Jockey, tonight's been great. That's crazy. Now, if you missed that day's podcast, you can still catch the chat at night. Spray Jockey, 10 likes at 10 p.m. All right. McLovin's popping in to say good night and sweet dreams, everybody.
Yeah, sweet dreams, everyone.
So let's get to today. The old man
was number
68. Well, no, he wasn't number 1. He was like number 28, but he was one of the first comments today. Happy Friday, everyone. So it wasn't Thursday night when he was commenting.
Right.
Looking at all the comments from last night, we should have 2 groups for this chat, the night owls and the early birds.
That's right.
All right, be a part of our community. Tony Jones _voiceover. Good morning, Robbleheads.
Tony's a huge fan. Awesome dude. Correspond with him via email quite a bit.
Good morning, Robbleheads. Don't usually get to participate in the chat much because I'm driving during the day, but I-70 just east of Highway 1 is a parking lot.
Uh-oh.
Good thing I'm paid by the hour. That is sweet. All right. So Don B. points out, yesterday there were 3 plants. There are 4 now.
Hey, you moved the sign, too. Good job with that.
I moved the sign so that I do not obstruct this beautiful artwork there. The 06010 board. Ethan sprayed for weeds. Don B. I doubt Ethan sprays his weeds. The 0601 board. I have 4 hole-in-ones, all at the mini golf course.
Oh, that doesn't count.
On the Atari.
So if you missed my old man. So my old man was a very good amateur golfer and had marriage / having a child not derailed his
happens
endeavors.
To all of us.
And then once he retired, he got really back into golf again, and he is a very good amateur golfer. He got his 4th hole-in-one yesterday. He's very nonchalant about it now, even though it's a very hard thing to do. And so I heard about it all day yesterday.
MLM Warriors co-host Jason. If you get a job, Rob, remember me.
I will remember you.
Mad Duck, smash that like button. How many likes do we have?
Yeah,
Smash that like button, please. That's for
get over
producer
200.
Jason. Let's do that. Ethan Hatcher says, I'm a lowly business owner. I have to spray my own weeds. Yeah, Ethan's quite the homeowner there.
Yeah, he owns a lot of homes.
Yeah, he's one of those evil renter people.
Yeah.
Jacks up the rent, rips people off. No, that's that'd be a terrible business. I don't understand how you can even make money in that business and put up with those people. Robert Schwartz, there is a Republican Party and there is a Republican voter. They are not the same.
Yeah,
in Indiana, that's pretty much true.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Yeah.
Drain the swamp. I'm sorry, Ethan Hatcher again. I love how the sign keeps moving around like a screensaver bouncing around the borders. Drain the swamp. Making room for Jason's feature segment. See that's how we got to think ahead.
Yep.
Right. Baby fish mouth. Trigonometry sucks, but geometry is a lot of fun. I couldn't do geometry.
I hated all math.
Yeah, pretty much. The 06010 board. Trig extends from geometry. The world is all triangles. No, the world is round. It is not a triangle. I know that's not what he meant. The 0601 board also had end of the math talk, totally killing the chat. Kind of did. Whoops. But you got to try. Not your fault, Rob. Charles Luty.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hit a home run for 3 straight hours,
That's
guys.
right. Charles Luty. We just like to call it as we see him here. We call the balls and the strikes.
Yeah.
We find out what works and what doesn't. All right, Charles Luty. Charles Luty. I had to get on Charles today.
Oh, no.
Charles was getting a little snarky.
Uh-oh.
And I found out it's because I don't think Charles went to sleep last night. He didn't get any sleep. So I had to didn't have to like discipline him. I was just like, calm down. And he got it. He understood.
Right.
So no harm, no foul. He says, public schools can teach how to do an antiderivative of a function, which I have no idea what the hell that even is.
There's new math.
But they can't teach anyone how to do taxes.
It's new math. Like there's a thing they call new math, right? Where it's like all this problem-solving stuff that is supposed to be math, and it's I've heard parents just bitch about it.
Yeah, we used to do the new math, which was like, what the hell is that? And now they said, well, we don't really need that anymore.
Here's the one regret I have about not trying harder in math, because I could have done it. I just have an interest in it. It cost me being able to get a business degree, and that business degree would have really helped me out because that's why
probably wouldn't be on the do an internet podcast.
That was the
you
one.
could have bought a radio station.
I would not have bought a radio station had I had a business degree.
You probably would have learned that.
Yep.
Callous Film. I can for sure tell you schools teach students how to do taxes using 1040EZ form in personal finance, which is required by the state.
Oh.
Well, but I guess if you're W-2, that's all. Not everybody's just a W-2 employee. Or is that W-9?
It's W-9, isn't it?
I don't know. Everything I do is 1099.
No, it's an I-9.
I can't work for
W-2.
people. Nobody hires me.
I-9.
Apparently, my resume is not as
I-9's the one you got to fill out
Rob's.
to prove you're a citizen or a business or whatever.
No, but W-2 is a regular paycheck. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Drain the swamp. The color scheme today is particularly pleasing. Pink shirt with purple highlights. Yes.
Thank you.
The old man,
It's all
68.
my mom ironed these shirts.
Yes. Great job, Mom Kendall. She mentions me here
Oh.
later on at some point. The old man, 68. Okay, speaking of, they also need to teach kids how to fill out a check and balance a checkbook.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't do either of those.
Well, you don't really need the checkbook
I use a
anymore.
debit card, and I get online, and yep, there it is.
Well, you do.
That's how I do it.
I write
these
lots of
days.
checks.
It's, modern technology. Rock laws. Woohoo! Summer of Rob. Reference to something you said earlier.
Yeah,
the
Seinfeld, Summer of George. I said if it's
Summer of
Ballard,
George,
I
that's
said if
right.
it's Ballard and Bye, it doesn't matter what squirrel the Republicans nominate. If it's Ballard and Bye against whoever, it's going to be the Summer of Rob. It's going to be great.
Shrog Sandwich. Morning, everybody. I printed out 4 pages for signatures and went down to the pool hall. I got 3 signatures. People just don't want their names and addresses on anything government. Where's the pool hall?
Yeah,
I didn't know we had pool halls in Indianapolis.
It's why the signature task is so daunting, and it's why they set it up that way.
Yeah.
Because no normal person.
Because you don't know when you're writing that, it's like, am I going to get on a list here, or am I going to get jury duty, or all that kind of crap.
Which,
But,
I mean, of course you don't, but you don't.
Well,
you don't know.
You do if you register to vote. You get jury duty. That's why a lot of people don't register to vote. It's like a penalty. It's like, yes, register to vote, do your American civic pride, your duty, and then we're going to make you skip 5 days of work unpaid. We'll give you $15.
You ever had jury duty?
No. Let's not go into that. Real Cowboy Chris. Good morning from Bluffton. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Sue Seifert. Shrog. Yeah, signatures are tough to get. The GOP in our state punish people that sign for someone trying to gain ballot access.
Yeah, that's the new thing, that they have threatened people who sign that they're going to label them a Republican in bad standing. If you sign for Ballard,
really,
that's the new threat.
Well, that would make me want to go ahead and sign for Ballard. Didn't we sign for
we did.
Ballard?
We've already
did.
signed
Okay,
for Ballard.
I guess. Okay,
we did when Nathan was here.
Did my duty. Steve Green. Rakita, you bum. Hit the like.
Yeah, Todd.
Todd. Joseph Norris. The Rob Kendall Show. Alive, with a smile, organic, and GMO-free growth.
That's right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Spray Jockey. I framed my personal email from Rob.
Was it Spray Jockey?
That was Spray Jockey.
By the way, I'm going to see C-Mills tomorrow. C-Mills is bringing us shirts, our shirts.
Oh, awesome.
C-Mills.
Yeah, by the way, we also didn't mention that I will be, you had mentioned earlier, Ethan knows where the pool hall's at. Behringer's.
Sure,
I played at
yes.
Behringer's Tavern. I've played there. That's the pool hall? All right. I've played there. They've got pool tables.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to Shelbyville, Indiana this evening and use my...
This evening? I thought you were going like an hour.
Well, I'm sorry. If you want to see me in Shelbyville, Indiana, I will be there about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock or so with Connie Lindsay, right?
Yes, Connie
Lindsay. And she's going to hook me up with some people. Then we're going to get some interviews. I've got my trusty little mic. This is a pretty cool little fandango thing here. And so we're going to do some interviews. I'm going to get some comments about the data centers in Shelbyville.
Awesome.
I'm hoping the mayor steps out and gives me a comment or two, but I have a feeling the mayor – there's a festival. There's a big festival thing going on there.
I need to get you one of those mic things that go around the mic that say Rob Kendall Show.
Yeah, they call that a flag, a mic flag.
Yeah,
you should buy me one of those.
Last time I sent you out somewhere, I ended up in an unemployment line.
Well, but we helped a lot of people.
We did.
That's right.
We are the giving tree of Indiana politics and government.
MLM Warriors.
Stump.
I would hire Rob and Jason if I needed guys like you for my company.
Great.
Congratulations to your dad on the hole-in-one.
Yes.
What kind of work do you do there, MLM Warriors? We may be looking for Rob's got a fresh resume that he could send out.
That resume is awesome, man.
Yeah.
I got done with it, so I'm pretty proud of this.
Yep. All right. Andy Engel. Good morning, all. I'm just now making it to the show. Whoop, whoop. But whoop, whoop at the end of that. Glad you can make it, Andy.
The nice thing about the show now is you can go back and listen whenever you want, right?
Yeah, but we'd rather have you here live.
No. I'm just saying he can go back and get whatever he missed.
Right. Kevin Branham, the chat is on fire today. It's why we are the best crew. Yes,
That's
you
right.
are.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Andy Engel, I'm going to Double D's for lunch today.
The Mississippi farm-raised catfish, I believe, is the special today.
Mad Duck, say it. Say brisket. Charles Luty, sweet. I recommend the catfish. Mad Duck, I knew you would. The old man and Ethan Hatcher, it's not just the mail-in ballots, but the harvesting of said ballots that the Dems have down to a science.
Yeah.
I say fight fire with fire, talking about the California primaries where they take a month to count the ballots so the Democrats can figure out how short they are and they get to mail them in within 7 days after the election. So where are we at on election night? We need this many more ballots. And the Republicans are so lame they don't bother doing that. No, we're ethical. We don't do things like that.
Holy smokes.
You beat cheaters by being a cheater. Cheaters. Shrog Sandwich. Shrog Sandwich. Referring to my visit to Shelbyville today between 1 and 2 p.m.-ish. I'll be at the, they call it the Eye of Egypt, which is the, that camera's going to go out here in just a second. The
I
eye
can filibuster for you.
Why don't you just go hit the button?
When people are going to see me stand
You
up.
need to learn how to do this.
Well, I already know how to do it.
All right.
Just hit the button.
Damn it, Rob.
I'll filibuster for you.
All right, I got to do everything.
Yeah. Love how you just make yourself disappear. So those of you who are listening on the app on Spotify, Jason has to hit our camera every 30 minutes or so, or it'll show up as a bunch of bars and then fade to black, and so he just made his picture disappear while he hopped up and did
Used
that.
to not be a problem till he moved me up to 45 minutes a day.
Welcome back to the show.
I'm slowly inching my way into co-host.
Life ambition.
There we
Remember
go.
when we now we have thousands of people? Remember when we had that little show 20 years ago at the Riley Towers?
We got
and
like 4 people listening.
We were so pumped up.
Keep talking. There's 4 people listening.
Yeah, keep going, man.
Yeah, we got an audience now.
Could be a sponsor.
Yeah. Pam Kendall. Way to go, Jason. Thank you, Mom Kendall.
That's it?
Well, she talks to you all the time.
We'll go with what?
I don't know. She just likes the way I go.
I got you.
She likes what I do.
Excellent.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up here. Maybe there's a reason she said that. Okay, Shrog Sandwich. Of course it's happening today. I work 2 to 6. I got a couple words about data centers. Shrog, it's Friday. Take off.
Yeah.
2 to 6. You don't need to work 2 to 6.
Yeah, no. You're done.
Friday.
You're done.
Yeah. Charles Luty, the Shelbyville Town Council are really popular, aren't they? Jennifer Schmidt Schoolcraft.
Oh, hello,
Jennifer in the chat.
Welcome.
She's come over to the dark side.
Welcome.
Her comment?
Yeah.
Go, Jason, go, Jason, go.
Go.
I don't know if that's a song or if that's just like
you need to go.
She's just like cheering me on.
You've got to go.
I'm going to go.
I want to know.
I'm going to go. Pam Kendall.
Uh-oh.
Mom Kendall. Way to go, Jason.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Very good.
All right.
Now it makes sense.
Robert Schwartz, can't wait to hear the comments from the square. It's actually not a square. They call it the Eye of Egypt. It's like, okay, what they used to call, I used to play at a place called Putters.
I remember this.
Right? I used to play guitar at a place called Putters, and then somehow somebody screwed them over and took the restaurant from them, and they didn't hire me anymore. So you build up relationships with these people, and you get playing all the time, and then they like fire the bartender that's hiring you, and you got a new one in there, and you got no relationship with that person, and then you just disappear from the list.
Yep.
So, but they used to refer to the Eye of Egypt as, how do I say this?
No, be careful.
I'm clean, Rob.
Yeah.
A woman's private part.
Okay, very good.
That's what it looks like.
Okay,
and that's right in the center of town in Shelbyville.
When you were bartending one time, I remember coming to see you after I got off at KLU one time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place on the east side you were just bartending? It wasn't one of the clubs. It was like an actual bar.
Okay, yeah, the maybe the outside in.
Nah, I think that maybe was it.
I don't know.
That was a heck of an experience.
Yep, it was. Vic Ferrari, the old man 68, will forever be known as the sinus fixer. He donated $17 for my Claritin. I think a couple people donated for that, but yes. And
yeah, look at you.
I'm just my head's not swimming.
Look at you.
All
look at
good.
You. Look at you.
Ready
go.
for Shelbyville, so I can go out and get some sinus. Go out and all that wins. By Monday, I'll be back. Screwed again. The old man 68. I only asked about. Okay, he made the donation, and then he did not get a confirmation. So. He asked about why he did not get a confirmation and wanted to make sure that I got my sinus medication money, my health care plan, and I did. So thank you, old man Let's see. The 0601 board. PayPal delivery error. Did the United States Post Office purchase PayPal? Yes. The United States Postal Service is the worst.
Here's the thing, though. There are some great mail carriers, and there's some great people that work there. I think it's just the business model. We have tons.
Sure, it's not the workers.
No, we have tons of postal people who love our show. They love the old show, too. They're awesome. I think it's the business plan. I think the government being in charge is stymieing the work of the fine people of the post office.
LD Stoltz asked, did you put your name on the top left corner of the resume with the words hire me in the body? That's a requirement. You're supposed to. It's a call to action. It's like advertising. Hire me.
Oh, hire me.
You're I'm Rob Kendall. I am worthy of this job.
Oh, interesting.
Hire me.
Never thought about. I'll have to remember that.
Hire me. Something to that effect. I'm not AI or anything, but that's
for future reference.
Right. Andy Engel. Andy was the one who asked, what software app do you use to do your video fades, run the ads, etc.? Are you trying to put together a competing podcast, Mr. Engel?
It's going to be the Engel Hour.
The Engel Hour.
The Engel Hour.
That does sound like something you'd hear on Fox News, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, it's OBS. O, the letter O, the letter B, the letter S, very common program. And we just run the very basic version of it because we don't want to screw the computer up in the middle of the show.
A lot of other stuff we could do.
A lot of stuff we could do. Yeah, we could make this a full production, but it's like, man, that's just asking for trouble and more work by me. Charles Ludi. Resume writing is another useful skill schools could invest in. I learned the art of the resume after I left Moravian. Bavarian?
Close enough.
Moravian?
Close enough.
You mean Marion? I'm not sure. It's generally best to keep it to one page. Did you keep it to one page? One page, yeah.
No, it printed out on a second page, but I think it was one page in the. I don't know.
Keep it one page. Robert Schwartz. Always liked interview questions. Potential employer. Why do you want this job? Potential employee. Because I don't want to be scavenging dumpsters for food. Probably wouldn't appreciate that. Now, that could get a good laugh, but I don't think they've probably heard all the stupid jokes. Not stupid, I mean humorous. All right, Baby Fishmouth. I missed part of the show yesterday. That would be on you, Baby Fishmouth. I want to hear more from Jason about how to get a job managing a strip club.
Oh, jeez.
Well, now's not a good time to get a strip club job business. I think it's probably on its way out. I don't even understand how they allow them to stay in business because they're breaking the laws. It's constant. And I used to tell Rob that all the time. It's like, I'm going to get arrested one of these days. They arrest managers if they arrest for prostitution.
Said.
Yeah, because you're a pimp. You're basically a pimp because you make money. Like when the girls are back there doing their thing, they tip out, things like that, pay house fees. So in essence, you're a pimp. So they arrest you as well. So I was never arrested as a pimp.
I was always worried about your safety.
Well, there were quite a few times that
especially when you were the door guy. That was the one that bothered me.
That was not the problem. Most people are cool with the door guy. It's when you fire a girl, when you fire a drunk on drugs girl at 3:00 in the morning, which I usually fire them when they come in, not because of this. They get a little crazy. So it's either I'm going to come back and cut you, or my boyfriend's going to come back in, or we're waiting for you in the parking lot.
How were they not required to have like an off-duty cop?
There usually was an off-duty cop in the parking lot, and that's what I would use to get rid of the guys that were causing trouble. Yeah. I'd be like, hey, guys, there's a cop in the parking lot. I know somebody here's got warrants. We can all just go home. And they would get up and leave. Yeah. And okay, I knew somebody here. It always worked.
It's just
always
the odds were in your favor that somebody had a warrant.
They don't care. They'll fight a cop, but you got warrants. Oh yeah. I'm not going to jail. So that was you learn. You don't go up to them and you never get in the face of a customer because they're not going to back down. Right. Nobody would back down. You're going to be like, well, if you're going to challenge me, I can't look weak. So you always you be the weak one to just get them out the door. Right. That was the thing. So how do you become a strip club manager? It's I don't know. I only did it. They called me in to clean the place up.
Yep.
Clean up the prostitution, clean up the drugs, things like that. So I would go in and do that. And once I got it cleaned up, it became boring.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now I'm just sitting here So I'll go home for 6 months, and I know the next guy coming in is going to screw it all up, and they'll want me back.
Here's a question. As the manager, were you also the bartender?
I bartended, DJ'd, all that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
you would, like, you'd have to do a Monday night, something like that.
Here's my question about that, though. Since the money's going to the girls, like, would people tip a bartender well at a strip club?
No, the bartender keeps the money.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying, like, because all the money and the focus is on the girls, are they being cheap?
Oh,
with
no,
the
no,
bartender?
bartenders make, they drunk. Yeah, you got the guys want to flash their money and show. They're just, making it rain and all that stuff.
Okay.
And no, you get, you make good money and then the girls have to tip out the bartender.
Oh.
And I think it's illegal to even do that. I mean, there was like a law, but I mean, it's like a strip club. It's like the last bastion of, it's like
the Wild West.
Like when you, it's easy to bounce in a strip club because nobody wants to get arrested in a strip club or have to explain to their wife.
Yeah, right.
Where they were. If you're at Joe's Grill, okay, I was at Joe's Grill. I'm sorry, honey. Well, I was at Babe's. It's like when people use credit cards, you get cash advances. You get a thumbprint, like a fingerprint, because they would the bill would come and the wife would get the bill, the Visa bill, and be like, "What's this?" Well, I was never there, and then of course she'd be adamant. She'd call, "We're not paying this," and they'd call the credit card company and take it off.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you'd have to have their thumbprint or fingerprint to show, no, he was here, honey. He was here. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's I mean, there's so many stories that I could tell that we're not going to tell today that have nothing to do with sex or anything like that. There's just it's the last playground of humanity, and it's all going away.
Yeah.
But so
are you done?
Yeah, I think we've
very good.
You've allowed me to kill 45 minutes pretty well here, I think. Was there something else? Okay. In an hour and a half, I'm going to be in Shelbyville, in the Eye of Egypt.
Yeah.
The center of town. Connie Lindsay's going to be there. She's going to line up some people that I'm going to talk to and interview and find out why they love the data center so much.
Yeah, great. And Jason does a hell of a job of this.
So if you want to come out and do a meet and greet, no charge.
Yep. Jason does awesome with this, and we'll use him for the show.
So we'll see how it comes
out. You guys, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, am I?
Yeah, you're done.
Okay, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We'll see you in Shelbyville, everybody. Have a great weekend. And the chat, let's see. When should we put the new chat or new
Sunday evening?
We're going to wait till Sunday?
Well, I guess people want to chat.
A lot of lonely people out there want to chat.
Okay, I see it. Well,
maybe
it's up to you.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just keep looking. Here's what you do. Okay, you go to the page and you hit the little bell.
Yeah.
There's a little bell there that you hit. A lot of people don't understand what the bell is. You hit like, share, and subscribe, but there's a little bell. When you hit the bell, it alerts you when I put up the thing. So then you get a little ding.
Oh, very
and
good.
then you can come in and be the first chatter. And all right, so long, everybody. Thanks.
All right, you guys have an awesome, awesome weekend. You be safe out there. You take care of yourselves, and just have some fun out there. Thank you to everybody who has helped grow this show, who's been a part of our show, who's been with us. We thank you to each and every one of you. If you haven't done so yet, please give us that little thumbs up. Let your friends know about us. If you have a conversation, hey, you got to check out this Rob Kendall Show podcast. We can't grow without you guys. Don't forget, we got a support button up at robkindleshow.com. If you're feeling especially generous and got a few bucks burning a hole in your pocket this weekend, don't lose it at the strip club. Lose it to us. And live link to the tickets to the live show, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Get your tickets, robkindleshow.com. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.